Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi. What are we calling this? Watch with Willie?
Watch the Cosmic Disclosure Watch Party with Real Life Sci-Fi.
Yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. I'm fucking tired. Oh, and well, let's introduce Timothy Pizza here.
Hey,
How's it going? Willie, you gotta mute the Twitch, man.
That's not me. I'm on a headphone. Oh.
Oh, it was our producer. Let's give a shout out
where
to
do I
Aaron
mute
Pierce,
the
who
Twitch?
is
I'm looking for that.
what? You know, just like any media player, there's a volume button.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Let's give a shout out to our producer, Aaron Pierce, who's helping us out with this because we're 40 and we don't understand things.
Aaron, thank you so much. She jumped on and is running this like a real TV show. Go follow her, follow Channel 101. Give the support back. And so real quick, this whole thing is Stephen Greer released this documentary. I've been talking about this for a while. He released this documentary finally that anybody can. He wants to share it with everyone. Anyone can download it. Anyone can upload it as long as you don't change it. And so we're doing this watch party because I feel like, you know, my biggest question is like, why anything? Why believe him? Why watch this? And I'm just like, I feel like he's the only person out there, and I'm very biased. I'm super biased. I feel like he's the only one out there that's actually saying like, hey, these aliens are here. They're not a threat. And so it goes down these crazy paths, and it's good to hear a skeptic's point of view from this, watching this crazy thing that most people. This isn't going to get put in front of a lot of people, but you know that's our job, is to try to share it, I think. And we've got our guest Timothy Pizza. He's been on the show a few times. Go listen to his old episodes. Go listen to Aaron's old episodes. They've both been on numerous times. And so let me just add. Well, Timothy, I'll ask you in a second. But Wade, what's your overall feeling of Stephen Greer? I feel like I talk about him too much.
I hate him, right? Isn't he that guy who's got all the muscles and shit?
Muscles. He's selling documentaries. He's selling books. Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, man.
Yeah, he's built like a kangaroo.
He's just making money off of this stuff.
And listen, it's weird because like, yeah, sure, this is free. I know that he's still going to be making money, you know, but I'm like, I feel like you need to make money to do anything. And I feel like he's my favorite human on the planet. Top 10. It's a top 10 list.
Oh God, that is so sad, dude. Where am I?
I used to be so afraid of aliens. And I feel like he's the only one really making me think about the possibility of what would we do if they were here. Where are you at, Wade?
Yeah,
it's so
on your
funny.
top 10. Do I beat Steve Greer?
Well, I mean, you do, but I feel like he's doing more for what I want to be done for humanity. But you are higher than him though, which is crazy.
I do my thing for humanity. I leave nice comments on the internet.
Oh well, listen, man. Comedy writing and really, you know, like being real to people instead of like, I don't know. I mean,
do Timothy, would you even want to know where you are on Willie's top people?
No, I don't. I don't want to know.
Well, it's weird because when, you know, I always try to think of coming up with lists, you know, and it's like, well, geez, every time I try to come up with a list, I have to break it down even further to like top 10 albums. Okay, top 10 albums of this decade, you know, because I'm like, my life changes so much that top 10 album I won't even listen to for a decade. Anyways, I'll shut up.
Yeah. So what is this? What is this that we're watching? And by the way, I'm watching it over here, so you guys are going to see my profile a lot, which I hate.
This is the documentary that he produced for. I mean, he didn't produce it for free. It was like crowdfunded, but this remember in the back of one of these COVID bills, they were like, "Oh, you also have to uh, release what you know about UFOs within 180 days." So everyone knew that disclosure was coming, but he's a voice saying that, like, well, this is them trying to tell you what aliens are for their game. And so this is him trying to get uh, all kinds of whistleblowers from decades together to just be like, hey, this is what's really going on. You're all being lied to. Timothy, what's your view on Stephen Greer?
Well, normally I would agree with Wade about like these alien guys, but Stephen Greer is the only one. Usually, when I watch a documentary about anything conspiratorial, like the guy will do a good job for like the first half to like 2/3 of their presentation, and then they do something. So, can I swear on this one?
Yeah.
As they do something so fucking dumb that it makes everything else they did before just seem so stupid. Like I've seen guys pull out a flute and start playing. I've seen guys do poems. You know what I'm talking about. And he's the only one that knows when to shut the fuck up and like walk away backwards and be like, that's all I got. I don't have to push my band. I don't want to sell you friggin' weird crystals. I don't want to do all this other stuff. So I love that about Stephen Greer. He usually cries at least once in all of his movies, and that always makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But I have held my finger over the buy button on those retreats where you can go out to his place in Colorado and do the meditation and like see the aliens.
Too.
Like, I really want to do that, but and it's not like for a trip to Colorado, it's not that much money. I think it would be cool, even if it was fake, it'd be something to do. I don't think sitting out in the field with that dude looking for aliens would be that bad of a time, even if he was lying to me. So I think everybody's probably lying to me. This guy, even if he is lying to me, he's still sort of pleasant, and he doesn't start playing his flute at the end of it. He knows what he's got a good thing and he's sticking to it, and he's not.
Why are you blowing my finale of my flute, dude? This is really pissing me off.
That's what
we had a whole recorder duo planned.
Yeah.
So watch we are posting a link to this, and also watch as you're watching this with us. We're going to take a few breaks just to have little conversations about what's going on, and then we're open to react to comments and stuff in the chat. So tell us what you think, and I mean, let's get started pretty soon. You guys got anything else to say before we get going?
No, I'm looking at the runtime. This is an hour and 23 minutes, so let's go.
Word. And I don't mean, well, yeah, I'll shut up. Yeah, let's go. This is Cosmic fucking name. What's it called?
You have a countdown. It's called the Cosmic Hoax English. The Cosmic Hoax English.
Here we go. You're gonna join us. So what, you like to watch your stuff with us? All
right, everyone in the chat. So here's the thing. Like, you guys are like 20 seconds behind us. So how do we do this?
Yeah.
But we're showing it on the Twitch. You don't have to hit play, right?
Oh no, they do.
Are we not showing it on the Twitch? Yeah, so you guys don't have to hit play.
Word.
Yeah, we'll hit play. You guys are fine. It's gonna come up
Wait,
here.
I gotta hit play too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Willie, take it away.
Okay.
Give me like 20 seconds. Give me a minute.
What? Oh, 28, 27, 26. So yeah, we're giving him a second to catch up. Thank you for joining us. And I don't know. Pick your poison. Here we go. Let's go with The Cosmic Hoax by Stephen Greer in 5.
Oh wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Stop the countdown. We should tell you guys that we'll be stopping it every once in a while just to kind of talk about what we've seen. So hopefully that's not annoying.
Mike, you can watch it without us. I keep saying that in my head. I'm like, if you're watching it with us, you want us to stop.
All right, commence with the countdown.
All right, 5. Moose, say 4. 4. Thank you, bud. 3, 2, 1.
I've been warning about this for decades.
I already hate this.
No, not that. This.
Speaking of conspiracy theories that actually have truth at the bottom of them, the Corona Relief Bill the President signed last month contains a provision that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. It directs the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and the heads of other agencies, to disclose what they know about UFOs within 180 days. So what are they going to tell us?
I provided briefings for 4 presidents, foreign heads of state, generals, and a sitting CIA director who later betrayed me. I've seen lives destroyed.
William Colby has been missing since April 27th. His canoe was found washed up on the banks of the Wicomico River.
Friends murdered. Unthinkable evil unleashed on our planet. All to protect this illegal and immoral secrecy. And nothing I've seen scares me more than this unprecedented moment we're living through. We're in the final hour of an agenda that has been playing out for nearly a century. Centralized monopolies of power in government, the defense industry, and the corporate media are all converging on the same narrative that extraterrestrials are real, they're here, and they're a threat.
I don't think it's
Those are not weather balloons. Those are clearly autonomous aircraft of some kind that are, as you put it, swarming U.S. military craft. So there are 2 options.
Under intelligent control. These are craft under intelligent control, and they're flying with impunity, Tucker, within our airspace, and they can outmaneuver, outperform anything that we seem to have. We need to find out.
It's cool because I haven't seen any
them,
of this. I've seen all the CNN stuff.
What the intent is.
The truth is, we do know who's operating them. Some are indeed extraterrestrial, and they are absolutely not a threat, as you will see. It is, in fact, the secrecy that is an existential threat to life on Earth and beyond, as stated by the first CIA director, Vice Admiral Roscoe Hillenkoetter. In 2020, I was asked to brief the President and Vice President on a situation that completely spiraled out of their control. They had been lied to, just as you have been lied to. And we cannot stop what is coming if we don't finally confront the truth.
The Cosmic Hoax
by Dr. Stephen Greer.
This may be one of the most important photographs ever taken. A dissection of an unknown humanoid from sometime in the 1920s. It clearly isn't human. I don't call it extraterrestrial for one reason. We don't have the history of that it came out of an interstellar craft. We don't have the genetics on it. And there are a group of doctors who are obviously doing the dissection, and then there are suits, very much look like government officials in the perimeter, watching. A woman called me up a few months ago whose mother was a seamstress on the atomic bomb project and built the covering for the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So she was cleared to the A-bomb project. She was then, of course, moved to the only atomic bomb squadron in the world at Walker Field, which is where Roswell is. At that time, she acquired this photo. How do we know? We tested the paper to establish that it was early 50s. And it's a photo of a photograph. And so we do a whole research project on it. We have it analyzed by the top medical archivist in the world, Dr.
It's 1850s based on that
Burns
guy's
in Manhattan,
mustache.
who establishes that it is the 1920s. We have the top clothing experts at the Metropolitan Museum of Art determined that those absolutely are from the 20s. So medically, clothing, everything. But if it is what we
don't
think
trust
it
your
is,
seamstress.
it means that there had been targeting and retrieval
Did he say she's
of
a seamstress?
extraterrestrial material
Yes,
and
seamstress.
beings that for 20, 25 years before
She knitted a
Roswell.
sweater for the atom bomb.
That opens another whole chapter. Now, the reason I think that's quite possible, I've had members of my team who've been in the vault and in the classified projects who have seen top secret files going back to the late 1800s and early 1900s dealing with ETs and ET craft and beings. So everyone thinks everything happened at Roswell. No, this goes back longer. Think about that. At least 100 years of UFO secrecy. Do you really
Who's
think
this guy?
this guy or this guy,
That's Blink 182.
or God forbid, this guy, really have a grip on this issue?
Excuse me, I didn't mean to fart out of my mouth.
They don't.
Wait, are you already
This
to
is
Blink
why
182? I
heads of
just got
state
there.
from around the world come to me, a
I
retired
screwed up
medical
accidentally.
doctor, to get the
fast-forwarded
truth
something.
about this phenomenon. And sadly, they don't have the power to do much about it once they know the truth. In 2001, I brought together 20 senior military, intelligence, and aerospace whistleblowers at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., for a press conference that would change the
This is
world
pretty legit.
forever. The men and women who are on the stage and the some 350 additional military intelligence
He's not as yoked
witnesses
back then.
to the so-called UFO matter and extraterrestrial
Wait, is that
intelligence
him?
can prove and will prove that we are not alone.
Has it been him this whole time?
This
Yeah.
marked
Yeah.
the public debut of the Disclosure Project and the launch of the global
Oh, yeah, now he's
disclosure
yoked.
movement to end UFO secrecy and disclose technologies that would end poverty, climate change, and the use of fossil fuels overnight and transform every aspect of life on Earth. One of the biggest bombshells at that 2001 press conference was the testimony of Carol Rosin, an aerospace executive who worked beside Wernher von Braun, the Nazi rocket scientist who came to America after World War II to work for NASA. Carol received his deathbed confession, a testimony so terrifying that we spent the last 20 years trying to warn about it.
Now, here was Von Braun sitting at a desk when I first met him, explaining to me that he was told he only had 3 to 6 weeks to live, but that he was going to stay alive long enough to teach me what the real game is that's going on. And it started out when I was in the industry, the Russians were the threat. We had to build space-based weapons against the Russians. And then third world countries called nations of concern at that time. And then the asteroid threat, which I thought was kind of comical that we could just put weapons up there to shoot down or steer an asteroid. And then it leads to the last card.
And then he would repeat to me over and over, and the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat.
He explained to me that there was a moment when we were going to be told that the extraterrestrial beings, that their craft were a threat, and they were not.
These craft that have come here are now not UFOs, they're identified flying objects, and we know that they have beings in them. And we have witnesses here who have told you that they can shut down our missile silos. They can stop a rocket going into space that's a test. We have witnesses here who have worked in the classified departments who have the courage to come forward here. to support what Werner von Braun told me back in 1974 to 77.
At the end, I said, and it's all a lie. Well, it's still all a lie.
The ultimate dream of the dialectical war machine, the military-industrial complex, is to have this war with a potential extraterrestrial civilization. It's their dream of all times. You know, you can roll into place all the kind of strictures of a national security state. You can spend literally trillions of dollars a year on massive military equipment, super high-tech equipment, et cetera. And so that it's logical that they would use that as an excuse. And we do know from repeated examples of it that the utilization of a false flag operation to initiate a war goes on over and over and over again. Our human family does that. The nation states do that. Hitler has done it. They dress up troops looking like some other neutral country they want to invade and have their own troops dress up like them and pretend they've assaulted somebody.
What was that?
Rush in and
what was that gay guy in the fishnet stockings doing during the? What was that?
Flashback to September 11th,
you guys see that?
2001.
Yeah, that was
The
like,
world
you know,
is in shock. The American people
trying
are
to
paralyzed.
the
with
idea
fear
that you
and
could
grief.
incriminate someone by,
Over
you
the
know,
next
like
few
picture
days, an
showing a Muslim
unprecedented
eat a
show
pig,
of solidarity
and it was
and
not really,
patriotism.
you know, you can
Americans
just fucking
fly
with
their
people that way.
flag from every car and hang them outside their homes. They unify around an overwhelmed president, brought together as one by terror.
Or picture an
loss.
American wearing a flag on
Few
his
raised an
ass.
eyebrow as constitutionally protected freedoms disappeared and the war drum beat loud.
Yeah, I agree with
the
all this.
9/11 attack set the stage for an invasion agenda that had been pre-planned for years, as General Wesley Clark
But the problem is
revealed
we don't
in a
need aliens to do
2007
this. We
interview.
could do this anyway.
He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office
But
today.
since
and he said,
aliens are
"This
real
is a
and they
memo
have
that
the
describes
technology,
how we're going to take out 7
we
countries
got to get there.
in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran." I said, "Is it classified?" He said, "Yes, sir." I
Is
said,
the white-haired lady the lady that
I
needed
said,
the
"Well,
star
don't show
for the
it
atom
to
bomb?
me."
When von Braun talked to me about
No,
this fake
no, she was
extraterrestrial,
Werner
he
von
called it a
Braun's
fake
assistant.
alien invasion that was being planned. I saw on a board a list of countries against whom we were going to build space-based weapons. I called Wesley Clark and he answered the phone. And I said, well, you know, what is it about? And he said, well, I asked that question. What is it about? And the guy at the desk said, I don't know.
I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know."
In its paper, published in 2000, Rebuilding America's Defenses, the neoconservative think tank Project for the New American Century asserted that only a, quote, new Pearl Harbor would generate the political will for the military and defense policy transformations the group desired. Indeed, these traumatizing events are always planned or hijacked in order to manipulate perception and manufacture consent for military action and the theft of our wealth and liberty.
George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and others had decided to go to war with Iraq long before Colin Powell gave that presentation. I feel like it was the lowest point in my professional and personal life that I had a hand in managing it.
But we've come a long way since the 9/11 attacks. That same document that called for a new Pearl Harbor goes on to describe how we need to put weapons in space, and even predicts the creation of the Space Force. For a complete fascist takeover, the men behind the curtain will have to play their final card, a cosmic 9/11.
This temptation to generate a false flag attack on the part of some extraterrestrial civilization, you know, you even hear people like Ronald Reagan make reference to it.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
wouldn't it be clear if we all of a sudden found ourselves being attacked by an extraterrestrial civilization? We'd finally all come together. Wouldn't that be really lovely? Well, it's not really lovely for the industrial state. They don't want to lose their other enemies first. They want to use up all that before they go to that extreme.
The last card was the most profound experience I had in my whole life. And I accepted the mission. And until Stephen Greer picked me up and talked me into going to the Disclosure Project, when I had just about given up, that's when I saw that there were other witnesses to what's going on, to the truth, to the facts.
When she told me what Werner von Braun had said, it didn't surprise me, because I had previously met with a number of people in the defense industry and in the intelligence community who had already told me that there was such a plan and that it could be actuated at any moment. And that was one of the long-term agendas, was keep the technologies away so we maintain our industrial base of fossil fuel and all this. When we're ready to pull the trigger on releasing this information, spin it in the direction that benefits the foxes guarding the henhouse, the people holding these secrets. But it was interesting to hear that all the way back in the early 70s that he had been warning her about this. And we know that those systems were developed in the late 40s and 50s. Truth seekers who explore the wonders of the ET phenomenon walk an extremely dangerous path.
Good call.
Most
Yeah,
get sucked into
the Reagan stuff was
gravitational pull
pretty
of the
creepy.
black hole
It's all a
of
little forced.
disinformation, where lies
Enjoys
about the UFO cover-up
O5s.
and about ETs themselves poison the minds of even the smartest and most well-intentioned investigators. These lies include ETs are demons. It's all interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. We don't have man-made UFOs. Aliens are abducting people. And the worst one of all, aliens are a threat. Therefore, we need to build weapons in space.
If we cannot commit to no weapons in space, to no war in space, then we're going to continue to have wars on Earth, and we're going to continue at the accelerated pace that we're in right now towards our own human extinction.
One of the difficult things of the last 6 months was that I learned that the same group that had been feeding false information to the public through TTSA had their counterparts that had been going into
Greer needs to go on Dr.
office,
Pimple Popper.
providing some information, but a lot of disinformation. So the way really good counterintelligence works, or disinformation works, is that at the
nose is
core of it,
hideous.
there's some truth. So they'd say, okay, the aliens are here, and here's some evidence, but they're a threat to the national security, and we need to have the Space Force.
Wow, Space Force.
And they get into this thing called the White House and the national security state, and they're completely at the mercy of the people who are going to brief them, and the ones who are assigned and cleared to talk about this issue, by definition, have been in those clandestine operations. I did a video brief for the president, vice president, and also for President Putin. That the problem is, by the time I had good access, they had already been, unfortunately, quite brainwashed on this, had already taken policy steps that included space.
Is that one dude and that lady
creation,
sharing part of
and
the
then we
same
were running
wig?
up against the election.
One thing is clear, is that the normal constitutional channels that you would think would be in control of that aren't. Presidents aren't briefed in on
You better
this.
not laugh, man. You
Heads
could
of
be
the
wearing that
Defense
wig one day.
Intelligence Agency come in who aren't
I'd be
briefed, and I'm
happy to wear
convinced
that.
they're not. From talking to them, it's clear they don't know.
It's like
what's going
the
on there.
George
So there's some
Washington
other
one.
structure. I happen to be persuaded by the evidence that immediately after Roswell, when they recovered a craft and bodies from the UFO vehicle, that the Truman administration set up a body that was outside of the normal constitutional framework of our United States government. And it was made
this
up
what
of
QAnon
major
calls the
elite
deep state?
people that they view as the real power elite.
A shadowy government with its own
We'll get to that
Air Force,
later. It's too early
its
for
own
Q.
Navy, its own fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself.
It's sort of a
Should we
shadow
should we
government
pause it?
within
Has
the
it been
government,
long
not
enough
just
to
in the
pause it?
United States, but
Let's
all
pause
around
it,
the
Aaron.
world. And
Yeah, it's a good spot.
What timestamp do you guys have? So I know I got a little lost. Cool. Thank you.
Wait, am I ahead of you or behind you?
You're
How
behind.
does this work?
Oh, well, the stream is behind us.
Oh, but we're okay. We're synced up. I don't need to worry about the stream.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
1850.
all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask: are they just talking about the one world order stuff? Is that what they're getting at?
So here's the thing: they are talking in that realm, but whenever somebody has defined that realm, it's like who's defining it? In the same way that we get the information of, hey man, aliens are abducting people. Hey, aliens are what do you call it? Mutilating cows, and anything that we get. So all of the talk of New World Order is probably spread by them, and so half of it is disinformation, anyways. And so I feel
right,
like,
but that Reagan quote is so out of context because he's talking about ending the Cold War, right? And like, oh, maybe if there were aliens, we would work together. But if you put that in the context of this film, it seems like he's saying like, what is it? What is the official New World Order? What is the official term?
Yes, the New World Order. Well, and well, that's the thing, is that, like, sure, that is out of context, but if you fall in line like about this, like, I think that they are fed things. I think that he, at this point, if he knew about aliens, it was somebody giving him a debriefing, whatever, that where they're controlling the narrative. And so,
but you know what's weird about this though is it's like the entire thing so far we haven't been given anything except for like, oh yeah, the military industrial complex, we got to continue the military industrial complex. They're it seems like they're talking about it like it's a false, they even said false flag, didn't they? So it's like, what is the point of this so far?
Well, this is a good intro. Picture anybody who hasn't followed anything except for, let's just say your parents watching this. Any of our parents, right? If they're not in some weird Facebook groups or something, then the only thing they know about it are just what is put in front of them, whether it's their choice or not. I'm just saying.
So this is like a college thesis where they're setting up what they're going to tear down later.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so, it's funny because I've seen this so many times. I'm just like, I get lost in the timeline of where we're at. But basically setting the stage that the alien story is started after things were kind of put in place to handle aliens.
So what's gonna happen is they're gonna go on to say that aliens are nice.
Oh, I got
a question. Those were all lies.
Well, yes, but with proof. From the realm of, if you don't believe in aliens, and if you don't believe in extra dimensional beings, and or anything that could be here, let's say it's not even extra dimensional, it's not even alien, right? Like any of those definitions, if you think that there's something here, because we haven't gotten into this yet, but and so I'm only trying to answer your question, not get ahead, but like when we do set off nukes, it affects other things that are here. It affects other dimensions that are here. It affects,
right. Yeah. Whatever. We all know that.
But and so that's where they're going to go to. But they're setting the stage of like, listen, the Cold War. Allowed them to try to because how are you going to rule everyone? Like it's just fear. It's just manipulating fear.
All right. Should we start it back up?
No, I got a question. is he saying that not all, but is he saying that the UFO information that's been going around forever, like abductions, crop circles, and other phenomena? There was a quick couple flashes of some stuff. Is he saying that that's misinformation and that he's about to drop the real alien info, or?
Yeah, he goes there too, but the idea is that since they've discovered aliens, we've reverse engineered stuff, and so not everything is theirs. And so the things that they're showing you, I don't know. Sorry, what was your question again?
Is he saying that all the info, all the people that, I'll just say one thing, and all the people that have abduction stories, for example, is he saying that that's misinformation about aliens?
No, he hasn't really gotten into that yet. But one idea that I subscribe to is that if abductions are happening, it's probably a mixture of, sure, maybe some aliens are doing, there's different races, but also maybe some military is doing it to add to the fear story. Because when it comes to, here's the thing, in this realm, whenever somebody comes up with a story and says that this is this, that's when things get crazy. How do we even define what the aliens are, And so when it comes to abductions,
you're getting so far ahead of this. Let's just watch.
Yeah.
Stop
don't ask the big questions.
All right.
I'm kidding.
All right. Count it down, Willie.
We got to count our own plaything in for the
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
The kind of power they have, both financially, technologically, and the means of projecting power militarily, is much greater than anything that the conventional military or the conventional government or the President of the United States has. Eisenhower knew it, and by the time he left office was very upset about it.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The ETs actually had reached out to Eisenhower near what's now Edwards Air Force Base, Muroc, and really wanted us to stop disrupting the fabric of the universe with these nuclear weapons and advance in a positive way into space and become part of an interplanetary family, which would have been wonderful for humanity, wonderful for the cosmos. But the people who make a lot of money from war and a lot of control of the populace through fear did not want that. So they circled their limousines and sort of moved aside the good people who would have been arguing for that. And that included Eisenhower.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
The fascist element that is owning most of the stock in the major corporations, especially the oil corporations and the natural gas corporations and the pharmaceutical industry, the railroads, the shipping lines. Virtually all these people are fascists, all during the robber baron era. That's what they did. They laid claim to those areas of our American economy, and they've never relinquished them.
Those families and those interests became the foundation of the post-World War II military and intelligence and industrialists. They knew that after we had detonated the atomic bomb, there were ET craft seen all over, wherever we were doing experimentation or storage or launches or anything, or even research and development. The ETs were very concerned about that for reasons we'll get into. So the military-industrial complex, as Eisenhower called it, became very powerful and developed clandestine, covert, unacknowledged special access projects that eventually moved the president out of the way and pushed Eisenhower outside the inner circle. I tell people that that was the era when the presidency was decapitated.
Fascism isn't, somebody wearing, a monocle and six-league boots with a saber scar, and all that stuff, and strutting around in Nazi uniforms. A fascist is a person who believes that the best way to develop the economic resources of the planet and to distribute them among people is to get a hold of them and have exclusive privileged access to these strategic raw materials, and have the corporations that have access to these strategic raw materials, and to be able to put them through the machinery that they pay for and that they invest in and establishing and producing these products and hiring people. And they believe that that's the best way to have their economy function. And so that the instrumentalities of the state, of the government, are put at the disposal of the private interests of the corporations. That's exactly what was going on in Germany. The Krupps and the ball bearing factories and the IG Farben corporations, all those big, huge corporations in Germany, they were all privately owned. In fact, they were financed by Brown Brothers Harriman and giving the loans to the post-World War I Germany to build them back up.
Andrew Mellon had intimate dealings with Hjalmar Schacht, who was Hitler's private banker. And so did Sullivan and Cromwell. I mean, this is dirty, nasty history. Oh, invest in Nazi Germany. Hitler's a great guy. He's a Republican. Don't worry about it. You'll make lots of money. And then Standard Oil, through straw man in Portugal, all during the war. I mean, business thrives during war. You know that. It's a racket.
That whole concept of fascism, and it's a word that gets totally misused because people somehow conflate it with just authoritarianism. But it's a very narrow definition, and it's an accurate definition of what it was that the Central Intelligence Agency was doing, actually promulgating the private interest of the major corporations. And they were putting
I
at
really
the
appreciate
disposal
this
of the interests of those
perspective that he gives
corporations
on fascism.
all the instrumentalities of the United States government, most importantly, the military and their intelligence operations and their covert operations.
We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil.
Because they basically believed that what's good for General Motors is good for America. And it was an entire theory of economic development. And so that they viewed anybody who interfered with that in any way at all as an enemy of the United States. And so that's how the national security state got really established and institutionalized. And so that when they encounter an event like Roswell, where this extraordinary technology crashes, they realize that there's this extraterrestrial civilization that's got this technology that is way beyond anything we've got. Their instantaneous response to that was, let's get it for us. And that we'll have it, and it'll give us this overwhelming advantage over any of our adversaries that are threatening our world dominion, or our, what they call full spectrum dominance, was their actual term that they used.
My granddad and I, when we were talking,
I like this
I'll never
perspective
forget,
too. Like,
he
let's
said-
get
was talking
this
about
for
patent.
us. It's not about
And of
like
course he
hiding
said,
it
"I
from
was in
anyone. It's like,
Czechoslovakia
we need
with
this.
patent in
We
April 45.
are the
And I
elite.
thought, oh, that was neat. What did you do? And then he's like, well, patent had to secure a lot of the stuff that the SS had. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And they said, well, we went into this warehouse, and there were all these exotic, jet aircraft, rocket engines, parts of the V2, and maybe a V3, I don't know. And I said, oh, that's interesting. He says, I saw a disc-shaped aircraft. I said, oh, is that the one they built that had the BMW jet engines and the Arata ones in a circle, and it didn't really work and everything like that? And he said, no. And that was it.
And so they began to take this in, and they started declaring it to be this
Nazi
huge,
UFOs.
national
Fucking
security
A.
state secret. Because it was, other than the nuclear bomb, it was the ultimate potential weapon. And so they wanted to be able to use it at their disposal for their private benefit.
That fascism and the fascistic proclivities of these big industrialists and very powerful people, they know they really can't control 8 billion people unless they first control their minds and their beliefs and their attitudes. As Nazi war criminal Hermann Göring said at the Nuremberg trial, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. This is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country. The buffoonery of the Third Reich was instructive, and they learned that kind of behavior wouldn't be effective. So they went subterranean. They went covert. People don't understand. We won the battle of World War II. We did not win that war.
Is she asleep?
My name is Paula Harris. I'm an international investigative journalist in the area of UFOs. I've been working in this field since 1979. When I was living in Italy, I was reading in a journal that two little boys, they called them Indian boys, had been present at a crash near Socorro, New Mexico. And I was wondering why none of my colleagues ever followed up on that. So when I came to the United States, Destiny had it that I was able to locate one of the men, Remy Baca. He told me in detail that they had witnessed this crash, these two little boys, in 1945.
There was an object that shaped like an avocado.
And what interested me most, because I look at the timing, is it was exactly 1 month after
there's so many ways you could describe it, but it goes with
and
avocado.
The atomic bomb is July 16th.
What the fuck is an avocado?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Then they show an egg.
Yeah, he could have just said egg, right? I mean, what's an avocado? Lemon? Like, there's a bunch of vegetables and fruits that all are like that.
And saw three beings. They were tall and thin. They had long arms. They said they looked like a standing fire ants. One of the witnesses said he thought they were hurt because they were screaming, and the witness was 9 years old. So he wanted to go in and help them.
I had these feelings that were being projected from them to me through my mind.
I wanted an avocado.
I could feel.
I thought I could make
feeling.
some guacamole.
Pain, anxiety.
This is Ralph
they were
Wiggum
far away
in the
from
future.
home. They were lost.
These ants were in this avocado.
And I could feel that. And I
You're
could
screaming.
see
It was
all
like
kinds
ants
of
standing up
pictures in my
on an
mind that to this
avocado.
day
I've seen
I
it
haven't
so
been
many
able to,
times.
figure out what they were.
So why it's important is we have two witnesses. It happened August 16th,
I see
1945.
pictures of avocados.
And from that area, about 13 miles away, we had
This is the Kaiser
exploded the
Soze scene.
atomic
He's
bomb.
looking around going,
So
avocado,
I
ants.
thought, well, let me go there. And for 5 years, I investigated this case and realized that whatever happened
Colorado
1
on the
month
shirt.
later was a statement to the planet. It was a
Wait,
statement
is this in
about
Colorado?
our
Why is this guy
going
talking
into the
about
nuclear
avocados?
Age. And
Avocado,
it was a statement
Colorado.
that meant wake up, because whatever you guys
Anaranjado.
did 1 month before is going to affect you for the rest of the planetary life.
Assuming that they've always been there, but what caused this great interest in us, this large incursion after 47? Well, obviously, the atom bomb. If you accept the multidimensional theory, it's highly likely that we've done a hell of a lot of damage. In somebody else's world, they might have even done more damage there than we did here.
Oh, George, we've done it. This guy is so stereotypical British.
In those other dimensions and worlds than we were doing here. Step in the shoes of a generic extraterrestrial who's tied into a civilization that's interstellar capable. And you are observing that in one person's lifespan, 100 years or so, we're going from guns and maybe cannons and a machine gun in World War I to thermonuclear weapons, then into the space age. Then these clandestine and covert unacknowledged projects develop weapon systems based on studying extraterrestrial systems, and then beginning to put them on satellites, on aircraft, and on ships, and on land-based systems. So the ETs are sitting back and looking at this in its aggregate, and now we're decades into the solutions for poverty in the environment, decades into the ability to have a new economy that would be just, and also would be a space economy. We could be out in space peacefully. We're decades to when we should have ended the war to end all wars was supposed to be World War I. What have we done? One war after another. Now they want to launch the big one, this final card that Werner von Braun spoke of, interplanetary war, by hoaxing an alien threat. So these civilizations are really quite appalled, frankly. And at the same time, we're using weapons like atomic and nuclear that disrupt the fabric of the universe, and their worlds are affected.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed.
A few people cried.
Who the fuck is this guy? This guy looks
This is
like
Oppenheimer, dude. This fucking Oppenheimer.
Oh, no way. That's what Oppenheimer should look
Hindu
like.
scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death.
I remember.
The destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
Take the
I
bride's
am
path,
death,
little
the
priest. You're
destroyer
in Carcosa
of
now.
worlds, plural. Worlds, plurals, not just this planet. So it got to me that Oppenheimer knew right well
Fucking
that they were having
stretch.
UFO visitations, that someone was interested, and I had in my possession already the MJ-12 documents that are on Ryan Wood's website. A letter from Robert Oppenheimer and Einstein,
This is cool.
addressed to President Truman. It's called Relationships with Celestial Within Our Bodies. When you say relationships with celestial bodies, and you are calling whoever was over that area cultures, you're not really talking about any kind of hostility. What you're talking about is more integration. So that whole document said, what do we do with this problem? Do we communicate with them and treat them like they're another country? And if so, the United Nations is not capable of handling this. In the document, it says we need to create a supra-United Nations. These are the words of Einstein and Oppenheimer. Who can deal with this problem?
The ETs have done a number of things when we go too far, where they stop it. Now, they don't do anything hostile or violent back. They've made it quite clear through very explicit events where the ETs do not want humans going out there with guns blazing.
A couple of nuclear weapons sent into space were destroyed by the extraterrestrials. The one incident, for example, was they actually photographed the UFO following the missile as it climbed into space and shining a beam on it, which neutralized the missile. And that is their major concern.
Show the photo.
Well, this is the Robert Jacobs stuff where like they showed him and then they took his footage. So if you ever see anything, it's a recreation.
Early 80s, we attempted to put
So this guy's
a
full of
nuclear
shit.
weapon on the moon and explode it for scientific measurements and other things, which was not acceptable to the extraterrestrials. And what happened?
The photos like
just old
erased
senile
time.
people, man. This is all old senile people. Everybody
These
in
are-
this is like 80 years old. They're geriatric.
This is the only people that would be whistleblowing anything. It's like they've like, fuck it, man. This is it. Like, I piss into a tube. Like, the world needs to
The
know.
destruction of any nuclear weapons sent into space.
If they were hostile, they would have just eliminated all that testing.
These aren't boomers. These are like
They
what?
don't.
What? Silent generation,
I find
greatest
out
generation.
That's not the way they operate.
Space is
they
fake.
warn. They say, "What the heck are you doing to your beautiful planet?"
I mean, this chick's a boomer
and you,
for sure.
you have a choice. We have a choice. We can listen.
Well, and
Or
even
can
in
let it
this, you
happen.
know, there's a lot of suggestion here. Like you make a comment and then you
If
show
people
a
are watching
UFO
the media right now,
video. And I get
they're not hearing about the peaceful extraterrestrial
stretching
craft.
too.
What they're seeing are released, supposedly leaked
I want to
documents,
see the
leaked
UFO following the
videos,
rocket.
much of which is not even true.
But that
They're
footage
not real.
was
It's
destroyed.
faked right there, and it's being presented.
They
in
got
a
it on film.
format that
Convenient.
is to cause fear.
Wait,
to make
so
us
they're
see
telling
the
me to take
crafts
their
and the
word for it,
beings
but
as
also avoid
enemies.
misinformation?
There's no question whatsoever that the elite that are in charge of the national security state infrastructure.
If you were in charge of that
both
footage
the
and you
official
didn't want anybody to see it, what would you do with it?
Unofficial infrastructure.
This guy is definitely
are,
in
in fact,
QAnon
not
for
only
sure. He's a
fascist
constitutional
Yeah.
lawyer.
This is cute
but
right
they're
here.
racist. So I'm telling you, when you see the documentation that goes on inside the Third Reich, and in the courses that they were teaching at the thing called the Ordensbergen. The Ordensbergen was this series of 4 castles where they trained the SS people, and you get access to their documents where they're talking about this eugenics and everything. Why is it that they hate the Jewish people the way they do? And people don't have any idea. People got some weird, distant ideas about this, mainly because we allied so closely with the fascists, even immediately after World War II, that they suppressed all of this information about them. And so people don't really know the details of what their thinking was. But the bottom line is that this issue of racism runs extremely profoundly deep in this elite white male Caucasian elite that owns most of the stock and shares of the major corporations and are the promulgators of this fascist ideology, right? And these are the people that were put in charge of the UFO program right from the beginning.
Many people who would consider themselves New Age and into all this stuff fall into these camps of, well, there are the good aliens and the bad aliens. And the good aliens almost always look like someone from Norway. And the bad ones have different features or maybe darker. I'm going, this is racism. You just call it out what it is. This is absolutely racism extrapolated into an interspecies level.
Not just racism, but speciesism, which is even deeper. We have to try to overcome this. We have to train ourselves.
They're hoping that we as humans evolve out of this mindset.
I fucking hate unicorns, man. Like
racist tribalism.
Oh yeah, I want to eliminate all unicorns.
Go down the path that these covert
I don't know about you
interests want us
guys,
to do.
get on board with me.
Extrapolate into
eradicating
space,
all the
push out into
unicorns.
space the
Because they are a threat to us as humans.
I call it exo-racism.
And
justification for war or genocide always begins with dehumanization.
These are made up things.
Enemies. For example, as part of their anti-Semitic propaganda campaign, the Nazis revived the centuries-old blood libel. The allegation that Jews murder non-Jews, especially Christian
children,
would be
racist
in order to
aliens,
obtain
but I
blood
think
for the
that
Passover
it would be
or
awesome,
other rituals.
right?
In order to lay the foundation for a false flag alien threat. The national security state has engaged in a similar propaganda
was
campaign
the
for
Werner
decades,
Brown, the Nazi
a
guy
cosmic
at
blood
NASA?
libel.
The national security state
They like
apparatus
that guy
and their
or
media
not like
allies
that guy?
have been flogging that.
Hold on, you can't
particular
ask the big
theory
question
that
while this is going. I think it's about time for a pause.
Civilizations are all here to
All
eat
right.
us or to take over.
Are we pausing? I got confused.
No, it's all good. It's been about 40 minutes.
What's your timestamp, Aaron? Okay.
Wait.
Word. So, what was your question?
The Nazi guy at NASA, Werner Brown. I was under the impression that this lady was talking about being his assistant and, sort of almost like a friend. And she didn't say that, but I felt like it was implied. Maybe I read that wrong. Whatever, that's cool. Just want to know. And then now they're going back to saying, like the Nazis, they're just extending that to alien species. But this is what the Nazi guy said, right? Because that's how all this started with the Nazi guy's death wish.
Well, what he said, he mentioned nothing of alien racism. So where's your question going? This is saying that like people who speak of aliens today have a natural racism towards different types of species of aliens. But what they're trying to say though is that I get what you're kind of asking, but the people in charge of this were racist.
Okay. That's all they're saying right now. This doesn't have anything to do with the Nazi guy at NASA.
No, yeah. Just saying that I'm so pausing because it's such a weird. There's so many different layers of how to answer this because there's some people that think that different human species are different alien races, and I only say that because there's this one idea that stemmed from the idea that Hitler's Thule Society, these ladies that grew their hair down to their ankles, and they say that their hair could act as an antenna. And so these ladies, there was this, and I don't know how real this is, but they had these girls with long hair go down their ankles, and they could communicate with previous species on Earth, through whatever beings. I mean, that their hair's an antenna. And then so one idea is that the Third Reich is actually like this old different alien species, because there were like 7 different alien species that landed on Earth, Numeria. And so the racism towards Jewish people was from a different alien race that shouldn't have been here. But I don't think that they're not bringing up any of that. They're just saying that, like, well, the people that were in charge were very racist, and they fucking, like picture what they're saying. The blonde hair, blue eyed people that were supposed to be Jewish. Not even Hitler was that.
Were the Nordics, right? Yeah.
So oh yeah, go on.
Are the aliens racist, or are we racist to the aliens?
This is him just bringing up the fact that
it's a
even
metaphor
when we
for
talk
racism?
about different races of aliens, like there are stories that have racist implications to them. Like, well, the Pleiadians are like Nordics. They've got white hair, white skin, fair skin, blue eyes. But the bad ones from I don't know if Arcturians are bad, but let's just say that they're like more darker and more reptilian. And so just saying that, like, even within the idea of that there are different races, like the racism comes out on accident, like I think there's multiple races, but you're going to say that a dark alien is probably a badder one, more bad.
That's what you guys are. That's what you got out of this. I thought.
No, I didn't get any of that
racist.
out of that. I'm just. Yeah. Go on. What?
Oh, I just thought it was saying we would be racist against aliens.
Oh yeah. That's what I get too. Like he was asking more specific stuff, so I just went deeper, darker, old. But yeah, I mean, when you picture Reagan's statement saying like, wouldn't we all come together? And I'm like, it's weird because wouldn't we all? He's basically saying, wouldn't we all be racist toward these fucking aliens that showed up?
Yeah, but he's also saying like if they are going to come here and blow us up. He's not pontificating that if they were nice that we would hate them.
No, but it's accidentally going like the new border is we are all on this side of the fence of space and they're all on that side.
And we'd get rid of all of our racism and unite together over a racism of aliens.
Just a speciesism, yeah.
I mean,
it's a misdirection.
It's District 9, right? It's
yeah.
fucking alien mine. It's well treaded territory.
Was that the one where they drink milk, rotten milk?
I think it's crazy to hear that story of the guy saying his dad was with Patton and they secured a UFO. I mean, like I'm not trying to give any credibility to the Nazis, but they, like if they recovered any UFOs, that's the
like
crazy.
President Trump said Hitler he did some good things. And I guess one of them was alien stuff.
And does Space Force have an office?
Which one? Which one? The Air Force Space Force or the Space Force Space Force? Because there's two Space Forces.
Trump's Space Force. I know you can buy shirts on the website.
It would be great if the only office they have is where they kept those shirts in storage.
I bet it is. I got a feeling that that's what Space Force is.
Okay,
it's probably run by Mike Lindell. Yeah, let's do it.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Our planet and rape our women. I mean, there's a whole scenario that's always gone on the part of authoritarian warrior states, about the ultimate other, the Hun, 95% of all of the movies that have ever been made about extraterrestrial life have portrayed them as hostile and dangerous to us, you know, and it sells in that way. I don't know why people watch those movies. But on the other hand, I don't know why people watch
cinematics,
either.
storytelling. There's a million reasons why you would not make a movie where
the
aliens are
within months. They stood up the TTSA with Luis Elizondo, who is a famous disinformation operative in the Pentagon, at least amongst intelligence officials that I met with. And
hey, let's make a movie about Russia, but we just get along and we just kind of hang out.
That began the whole process of trying to pull the narrative back to, gee, we don't know what these are, but here's the evidence that we're quote
Wigman is the
leaking,
dumbest, I think. I think Wigman is the dumbest guy out.
And then they hit the button. So
maybe
the mainstream
Wig Woman
that will take dictation from the intelligence community.
I like Avocado
in the New York
guy.
Times and CNN and every network around
He's
the world.
my favorite.
Whereas
which guy was
the
Avocado
Disclosure
guy?
Project
Oh,
has
the old guy.
100 times more direct military
No,
witnesses
he was the
and
guy
better
that saw
evidence.
when he was one of the
And
8-year-olds
they
that
wouldn't
saw
touch
the
it because
aliens.
it doesn't have
Screaming in his
threat
mind.
narrative attached.
Yeah, but now
it
he's
doesn't
old.
have the agenda attached.
And senile.
The UFO threat is being exposed by this former Defense Department official.
There are unidentified vehicles violating U.S. airspace with unknown intentions and extraordinary capabilities being encountered by U.S. military personnel. We don't know where they're from.
Chris Mellon, descendant of one of America's most influential families, oversaw the budgets for some of the military's most top-secret weapons programs.
I think there's a reason they picked a Mellon. This is a tradition in our family. You know, as you said, the Mellons were the first family of intelligence that will go along with, you know, we need to do this for the good of the country. You know, yes, you got to lie and do whatever you have to do, but, you know, this is what we need to do. And they'll just do it. I mean, I'm not going to, you know, stay silent when members of my family lie to the American people. I won't do that. It's one thing for my dad, you know, in the old days, to get up there and do some mild fibs about
No laughing.
This is not. You're messing around with the survival capability of the human race. Correct. I mean, that's not an overstatement. Right. This is deadly serious. It's not funny.
I know
it's kind of
from direct conversations with Lou and with Chris.
I mean, look at these
that
people's
they
hair.
know
Everyone is
that
funny in this.
the
They all have
major
crazy
military
hair. Are these not
authorities
clowns?
You found it, Wade.
with whom
Their
they
hair
had
is
very
the
close
clue.
communications.
I just don't know how we're
realize
not supposed to laugh
if,
when you
in
look at these
fact,
people.
The extraterrestrials were hostile in their
Yeah,
intent toward
they
us.
might as well be
They
playing a
could
fucking
have done
flute.
anything they wanted to.
But
They can
I
come and
picture them
go
watching
at their
watching
pleasure.
our watch party
So
and be
that-
like, who the
that
fuck
in
are these
that
guys?
regard, they do
Yeah,
not
it's true.
constitute
Who are these
a
three
clear and
awesome
present
dudes?
danger to our national security. But they also know that they're in the habit of getting their funding.
But if you
for
do
all
want
of
someone
their
to take you
entire
serious, like
organizations,
don't
et
have the
cetera,
fucking
by flogging a threat.
ancient aliens hair.
And so that they're inclined to do that.
I mean, how do you
because
get that old and
the simple
still
fact is
not
they don't
have
trust the
any
people in
like
Congress.
control over your
They
hair
think the people in
whatsoever?
Congress are so Pavlovian.
You think he's like 70
in
years
that
old
they, in
that
fact,
he would like go to a
distrust
barber
their
once in a while?
constituency so much that they have to scare them. And so they say, well, if we're going to be able to justify having hearings about the UFO,
it doesn't
issue,
add
they're
up.
still
we're
they're
gonna have
still
to tell
just
our
talking about the
people that, you know,
justification
they're
of the
a
military
potential threat
industrial
to
complex.
us. And so
How can his
therefore,
eyebrows be
they're
black?
conning their own constituents.
Oh, that
And then
hair's weird,
they
man. Look
are
at
getting conned
my whole
by
goatee's
the
white.
military-industrial.
Do you think that you
complex,
wake
'cause they
up
don't
one
trust them
day
either.
and your
And
entire
this is a
body
question of
hair is just
integrity.
all white? Do
That as
you think it
long as
happens
people
like
are
that?
not trusting each other and they're conning each other,
I am
you know,
afraid of
this is
white pubes.
dangerous.
I mean, like,
this is how
like
wars start.
pubes
This
aren't
is
no
how
longer
people lose
pubes when they're
control
white,
of
right?
the-
So
of the
like we
narrative
can look
of
at
what's
white
going on
pubes
here.
and it's not a
Those of us in the CE5
bad
community
How are they
for-
no longer
need to
pubes?
establish some kind of level of discourse,
Well, because of Willie's dumb
with
brain,
Lou
he
Elizondo
thinks
and
that
with Chris Mellon.
once
All they have to do is know that we're
is it
obviously
like the it's
sophisticated
oh
enough
you
to
know what it is? It's
that
the
what they're saying
antithesis of
publicly they know isn't
people
true.
being too young.
We have to be able to establish
Once they
diplomatic
get so
relations
old
with our
that
own people.
you can no longer
if we're going to establish
sexually
diplomatic
harass them,
relations
it's
with
totally
an entire
legal, 'cause
extraterrestrial
they're not
civilization.
sexually.
And so that we can't
That's
just
what you're saying,
degenerate
right,
into
Willie?
the same kind of
It's the
low
parallel of
consciousness
if you're in a
bullshit,
tribe and nobody
you know,
and the
that we're
women don't
afraid
wear
of.
shirts, then those
The
you can't call those
facts about
boobs.
UFOs are so much stranger than the lies that you discredit yourself simply by telling the truth, especially when it comes to
sorry, I should pay
so-called
attention to
alien
this.
abductions. Perhaps the most devastating aspect of the cosmic blood libel is the hoaxing of alien abductions by humans in order to create a culture of fear towards extraterrestrials.
Cosmic blood libel is
Dozens
gonna
of
be-
insiders have confessed this secret to me.
Abductions
It
is
wasn't
what
until
scared me my whole
2016
life,
that I was
you
able
know?
to get
Cos-
one of them
Cosmic Blood
to say
Libel
so
is the name of
on
my
camera.
new band. It's kind of like
Yeah.
We did do that.
Yeah.
Yes. OSI
Oh, come
did
on,
that.
that's been from
There was
Lost.
a special group out of the 7602nd Air Intel Wing at Fort Belvoir that came out and did that.
We met- I met this
had
guy.
These, people
Where,
that
was
had
I there?
maybe some sort of defects.
Yeah.
Anatomical defects that were brought in.
Did I give him a noogie and call him a
people
nerd?
Thinking they're aliens. Yeah.
I mean, you
can't
didn't
give
show
you
up to the
specifics
event.
because it's still the program is still classified, and they probably.
I'm
still
not gonna
doing
go
it.
watch
I
a
wouldn't
bunch of these
doubt
crazy
it, they were still
people.
doing it. These civilians got onto the base and got into something, and they saw something they weren't supposed to see, and this group came out and went into their home and scared the dickens out of them and
Staged an alien event.
exactly.
We have these technologies. They are being used in false flag.
I don't want to put words in your mouth,
where
but
they
staged an alien event.
And the purpose
I think
for
we
all
should
of
do a
it
quick pause.
is
if
a
you're
sort
there,
of
Aaron.
psychological warfare.
What,
as it
already?
says in the CIA
Okay.
document.
Oh, she's not. She's
The
not.
director of the
Oh, there
CIA
she is.
saying the UFOs.
Just a quick one, because I think this is something that I've so when it comes to anything in this conspiracy realm, you're trying to disclose information and whatnot. One idea that Stephen Greer pushes a lot, and is that we've reverse engineered UFOs, and that the secret military has the technology to abduct people and pretend like they're aliens. And so I only bring that up because I'm like, even in the crazy things that I believe, I'm just like, this is a hard stretch. This makes me go like, man, you know, when like someone who is maybe 1% of you like me or like into Bigfoot, and then like you see a weird picture or photo, and like, fuck, man, I can't listen to you anymore.
Are you talking like
I believe this is possible, but it's crazy to think that they are abducting people. The military has, let's say they've reverse engineered everything. They have all the technology, they can do everything, and they're actually abducting people just to add to the narrative that like, well, aliens are pretty scary, man. It blows my mind. Do I think it's possible? Yes.
But this
Does
is like
it-
a
does
weird.
it-
This is a weird thing where it's like, are aliens real or are they not real? Because everything that we've seen so far is like, these are people fucking with you to believe the aliens are real and that you should be afraid of them. But they haven't really said, oh yeah, like aliens are. I mean, they have said that, but as far as I can tell through my viewing, they haven't really proven it outside of a bunch of photos that don't exist.
You know, the government sent me a letter saying that they couldn't find my taxes from 2016, and I logged on to my tax account and I could see them in there. If they can't figure out my taxes, how are they reverse engineering stuff? Like,
Man,
they can't-
listen. You're getting confused with people that have jobs versus people that have all of the money of the world. Like everyone who has a job is a fucking idiot. Everyone who is trying to hide their money from the rest of the world, they have a real power. Like just take, for example, the funding of wars, you know? Like anybody who's got like, yeah, man, I sell bullets to both sides or whatever. I sell oil to both sides. I sell bolts to everyone in war. What the fuck is that thing, dude? Oh my
It's
God.
an alien. There's an alien here.
Oh my God.
That is the coolest, scary. I don't know how you sleep with that in your house. It's great.
I think, did Aaron make this? Did you make this, Aaron? Aaron Pierce made it for a Cat Solon commercial or something like that. His neck is ripped. I don't remember it being ripped, but he's just here to. He's gonna pop up anytime someone says something stupid. He's the white stupid fox. His name is Whitey the White Stupid Fox. And anytime someone says something stupid, he gets drawn to it like it's food. And he's gonna come in.
I think mayonnaise likes him.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because Enjoys in the comments says we don't really live afraid of aliens. I feel like most people don't believe in aliens, and the people that do, I feel like a higher percentage of them are afraid of them because of abductions. And this is obviously me projecting. When I'm driving in the middle of the night back to Colorado and I'm in like, there's no cars around me, like I am afraid of getting abducted. And when we interviewed the girl that when we were in the McMenamins Festival, we interviewed a psychic that said that like people get abducted while they're driving and get put back into their time before they were like simultaneously. So like, it's like no time disappeared. That shocked my shit. Going like, oh, you get abducted and just get dropped back into your time. I was like, what the fuck? That's scarier than ghosts.
Whitey agrees. That's very scary.
You can't like chop that up to like sleep paralysis if you're operating a moving vehicle. You know, that's kind of hard
about movies, you know, but like if you picture the first introduction of aliens to humanity in movies, that's where that falls in line, where it's like, hey man, these things are trying to take you over. And so I'm like, yeah, I know, sure, maybe the legs bending backwards in the Charlie Sheen movie aren't scary, but the idea that I mean, how many, I agree with you, Wade, that we need aliens to be the conflict, we need aliens to be the threat, we need it, you know. But you know, like, sure, abduction stories go up after alien movies.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah, but that's
The Arrival. Thanks, Evan.
But that's like when you buy a car and then you see that car everywhere. Like you watch a movie, about alien abductions, and then you go, oh, I was fucking alien abducted. Like that's just like, you know, what's the word? Suggestion.
Can Whitey smell your what do you call that? A cast?
Cast?
Yeah. Oh man, looks like it smells good to her. Ah, never mind.
Does the chat have any questions while we're paused here? Do you guys want to talk about anything?
Right. I mean, there's mostly been comments. If you, I feel like for the next pause, like come up with some questions, right? Because here we go into another leg of that we don't really have any questions as of now. So
okay, cool.
We're gonna go for another stretch right here. If you've got questions, ask them. I'll write them down and we'll address them. Right.
Don't be stupid about your questions, because then Whitey's gonna show up. Be careful.
I got a feeling Whitey and I are not
ask.
going to get along.
You're all stupid. You're all
hey,
stupid.
Whitey, why don't you give us this countdown back into our start?
And a 3, and a 2, and a 1.
Subject is very valuable for psychological warfare potential. And that is a very interesting thing to be written in 1953, right? And what does that really mean? Well, it means that the long-term defense strategy from the late 40s and 50s forward was informed by eventually using this last card to consolidate sort of a global, totalitarian military control of the population.
Could it be manipulated purposely by people who have the technology to simulate UFO sightings? And people say, well, of course not. Who would do a thing like that? Well, I would remind you that during the Watergate investigation, it was discovered that there was a plan originated in the White House to surface a submarine off the coast of Cuba and paint the second coming of Christ over the island of Cuba using holograms. Which is well within our technology
Hollow
today.
Jesus?
The idea was that
Cuban
since
hollow
there's a
Jesus?
large Catholic population in Cuba, they would be so
Yeah, this is
upset
weirdly
by
legit.
This
This is-
vision
this
that
like-
this would saturate the communication channels, the
Makes
telephone
it-
system in
it's
Cuba
real.
long enough for an invasion to take place.
How interesting. I never heard of that.
Well, I think that's a classic in psychological warfare, but that kind of manipulation is well understood, and I have personally investigated several apparently
I really like his hair.
genuine UFO cases where there was, in fact, manipulation. My conclusion, the conclusion of scientists working with me, was that there was, in fact, a manipulation taking place, and that it was not a hoax on the part of the witnesses, but a hoax on the part of somebody much better organized than.
In Vallee's book, Forbidden Science 4, he describes a smoking gun document that confirms what Doty said. In an entry dated Thursday, 26th of March, 1992, Vallee writes, "I have secured a document confirming that the CIA simulated UFO abductions in Latin America as psychological warfare experiments. We reached out to Dr. Vallee and asked him if we could publish the document in this film. He refused and tried to blame the producers of this film for his decision to not release it. Unfortunately, others in the UFO research community have similar evidence of this cosmic false flag, but are afraid to come forward publicly. This lack of courage or integrity, or both, is precisely why the
But don't even bring
secrecy
this up.
persists." I also asked Richard Doty
They're just
about
slandering
the last
this
card
guy.
scenario, using the military lingo for false flag, deceptive INW, which stands for Deceptive Indications and Warnings. Have you been exposed?
Yeah, thanks, Moles. Way to put your personal drama into the movie. Yeah, you're right, dude. Like, fucking knock it off.
The false INW or the
Can you believe this coward blamed our producers?
related to this?
Yes.
And what did you find out about those?
That's pretty hush. I don't think I should talk about that. Yeah.
I mean, that's what when I briefed the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, that was the main subject.
That is, that's very sensitive. Yeah, it's very sensitive. Yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah. So we'll just pass that question on.
Colonel Corso was given the job by General Trudeau for the Army in research and development of foreign technology. But the foreign technology is really foreign. I mean, it's so foreign, it's out of this world. And he explained to me that he had something called a nut file, of which he had fiber optics, high tenacity fibers. He named the things physically that he had there. He knew they came from extraterrestrial crashes or extraterrestrial materials they had recovered. And it was his job to take them to big companies to be back engineered. Now, in Colonel Corso's time, it was 1960, but this had been done way before 1960. These were extraterrestrial artifacts that had to go into industry. So for the first time in my naive years of research, I realized why the secret was secret. I always thought it was about, everybody would panic, then the religions would fall, and I had no idea this was going on. And ever since my association with Colonel Philip Corso, I realized what this is about. What this is about is the toys, the artifacts, And it's really about the industry. It is not about whether people would be scared or whatever. I think that the younger population and people that have studied this know that there is no danger. I mean, if they're not going to bomb you during the time you're doing the H-bomb test
Am I
in the
right?
Pacific, I don't think they're going to decide to come out of nowhere and bomb everybody or to have an invasion. There are too many times where we could have had an intervention that was hostile, and we never have, and we're the enemy.
Hey, John, happy birthday. There's no way that I can, sugarcoat this. I was talking to a gentleman about the UAP report, and he contends the Pentagon has alien bodies and crafts. So I just wanted to run this past you. Does DOD have these things, and if so, where?
Jeff, the UAP task force is really designed to take a look at these unexplained aerial phenomena, try to help us
is that the quantum leap
get a better
guy?
understanding of them. Again, I'm not going to get ahead of the report that the DNI
Your
will
eyes
submit
are weird,
that we
man.
are
Looks
helping,
nothing like
obviously,
Scott Bakula.
and providing input to. And I think I'll just leave it at that, Jeff.
This exchange would have been unthinkable even a few months ago.
Like this
Notice
guy
that
knows
he didn't
anything.
Deny it.
Yeah, he's
There
a
are
press
three major
secretary, man.
lies
They don't
of the
tell him
current
shit.
false flag disclosure.
I
of
do
UFOs
like the UF
in the
no
media.
brat pack.
Number one, we do
and
not
they all
know
have white
what
hair. There's the
UFOs
Demi
are.
Moore that
Lie.
looking
Number
girl.
two,
and there's
the U.S. military
Rob
does not
No.
have any aircraft that can perform in the way these UFOs maneuver. Lie. Number three, they are a threat to national security. Lie. The only threat to national security and world peace is the unacknowledged projects using man-made UFOs and other technologies
Period.
to hoax alien events. Period.
Booyah.
And yet, we are inundated with messages about the threat to national security posed by UFOs.
We take all incursions into our operating spaces seriously. So, I mean, like everybody else here at the Defense Department, certainly we are taking the entire matter seriously as it regarding the potential for safety concerns.
One of the most brilliantly subtle disinformation techniques currently being deployed against the people of Earth is this air of phony agnosticism that has been generated surrounding this issue.
Do you believe that they sincerely don't know what these things are and
they
where
don't.
they came
We
from?
have the best military on planet Earth, the greatest intelligence agencies. These are true unknowns, and they were swarming our military arsenals. They're seen over nuclear facilities. This is documented. We need to find out who is operating these vehicles.
There's a certain studied agnosticism that the media is allowing to come out through these ufologists. For example, Nick Pope.
I mean, we are under siege. It's like there's a war of nerves going on. And if this was drones belonging to a foreign adversary, there would be an absolute outcry. And yet, the situation we're in, that we don't know what these things are, and they might even be extraterrestrial, that's worse. So I agree with Luis Elizondo on this. This is a potential catastrophic failure of intelligence.
The same thing with people like Chris Mellon. Whether he's been paid or not, he will get up there and say, well, we don't know what these are, we need to study them.
There's a vital national security issue, which is that our sovereignty is being violated by vehicles of unknown origin.
Chris and I have met. We've talked about all this stuff. I think the TTSA program was a little goofy with Tom DeLonge.
This is a mechanism to change the way the government acts. You're going to see us dealing with the Senate, us meeting with the intelligence services of other governments, and everyone is coming out of the woodwork and saying, this is real.
Why is he not wearing a band t-shirt?
And it very well could be a threat.
And what's this fucking guitar riff that Tom DeLonge can't even play?
Former Blink-182 frontman Tom DeLonge launched To the Stars Academy, or TTSA, supposedly to bring scientists and whistleblowers together to advance the disclosure of UFOs. In reality, This was a thinly veiled front group for the Defense Intelligence Agency, staffed
Spooks,
with
this guy's
notorious
racist.
spooks like Jim Semivan, the former head of covert operations domestic for the CIA. All of a sudden, the same media outlets that historically ridiculed this subject started fawning over DeLong and his entourage of disinformation agents, and always with the specter of an alien threat.
Hal Puthoff was wanting, soliciting me for funds for his quantum communication.
I figured out what
which I
this
think the
is.
Navy
This
has
is a
had for
hit
30
piece
years.
on anyone that
So there's a lot
Stephen
of
Greer
disconnects going on. And
thinks
of course, they've
is
left
an
that
affront
TTSP
to his
program, and I don't blame them.
financial
I think it's
empire
a shit
of
show.
alien shit.
And some type of CIA, quasi-psyop something. And I don't think anybody was really excited about it. And when they say this is a mystery we need to solve,
How can Blink 182
that
be
is
involved
not
in a
true.
psyop?
As you and I know,
No,
the US military,
because
especially the
early
Navy,
internet. He was
has
talking. He just met the
reams
right
of
people on the
information
early
every
internet.
shape of craft, where it's from, who's driving
People
it,
that
Is that a
what they're up
joke?
to,
That sounds like a joke.
Forget it. It's just been going on for 7
Hang on,
years.
Whitey wants
the
to-
military-industrial complex
Whitey
is not
wants to
stupid.
listen to this.
Neither are the
He
branches
met
of the
people on the
military. They know
early
exactly
internet?
what's going
Is that what he said?
I think Chris means well. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't
let's
think
pause
he's one of
it,
these
right?
guys,
We're at the
what's
60-minute
going around
mark.
here? I'm going to fool the public.
Whitey's.
You think?
I said, I'll take back my quote.
You think that Tom
Whitey is right to call me out on my bullshit, but if you picture what happened, hold on. Oh, you're not screwed over. What happened was here you got everyone's on the internet when Blink 182 early years, right? Everyone's on the internet looking around. He's looking for UFOs and aliens, talking about stuff.
Hamster dance.
I'm not saying, dude, that fucking cat is fucking crazy. I'm not saying
It's
that
a
he
fox.
was a target. I'm not saying he was a target in any way. He just actually met people that were a fan of his and he was a fan of theirs, kind of thing. Like if you're going to if you have any top secret information, like, are you going to give it to Willie Roberts or are you going to give it to Tom DeLonge? If you give it to Tom, you get backstage passes to Blink 182 concert. Am I right, Whitey?
I mean, is everything Tom DeLonge told me a lie? Like, did she really leave him roses by the stairs? Was she at his show watching? Commiserating?
Right. I just think that he is. I think that he's being lied to for this idea that aliens are a threat. That is the main. Forget about no matter what you believe about anything. The main story here is they're either a threat or they're not, and the military is telling you they're a threat. Stephen
Worst
Greer
puppet
and
show,
everybody
what?
he's
No, it's a
talking
good
to is
puppet
saying
show.
that it's not a threat. And so no matter what we do, we've shot them out of the sky. We've launched nukes into space. We've done everything. And they still haven't ended us. And they still haven't try to teach us a lesson in the way that even I try to teach people a lesson as I'm driving to work in the mornings, road raging, like there's a patience to them that's just like, hey, don't fucking launch nukes into space. Hey, you got nukes? There's aliens here. Hey, you like a lot of the stories that were suppressed for a long time was the fact that anywhere there were nukes is where there were aliens. The Roswell is where the bombers were that had nukes from Nagasaki, like that. The bombers that bombed Japan that had nukes were in Roswell, and so I know that I believe that things happened before Roswell, but all of our actual interaction with UFOs mostly deals with them being around our nuclear sites. So that's the narrative that, like, we've got nukes. They didn't stop us from researching them. We've got nukes. They didn't stop us from, like, melting down or anything, just like, but our nukes are affecting different dimensions, different realms. And so
Or they
if
didn't
you
stop
believe in
us because
aliens,
they don't exist.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
why
why. That's why.
Blink-182?
That's why I preface with this: if you believe in aliens and you think that they're here, the proof that they're benevolent is that they haven't agreed with us that we are pieces of shit. Because we agree, every human agrees that sure people want to be good, but we've never done good for humanity. We're still in war. We're still bombing people today. And what is how fucking.
Yeah, I mean, like if the aliens saw like a YouTube chat room or comment section, is that what that is? Reddit? People, yeah, nobody's nice to each other. But I'm kind of with Wade on this being like a hit piece on everybody that Greer hates. It's kind of funny. He's kind of going all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused. There's a lot of different things going on here. I think he's kind of overcomplicating it.
But how do you undercomplicate something that nobody believes in? Like you
just say government's lying to you.
You got Christians, you got different governments, you got different religions, you got different fucking try to talk to your parents about aliens. How are you going to talk to them about it? Are you gonna like?
Oh, my parents, but my dad believes in them. He's like, oh yeah, it'd be dumb for us to think there's nothing else out there. My mom's never even left the country, like been to Mexico, so I don't know if she would be able to contemplate stuff about multi-dimensional beings. But I bet if I could get her to try DMT.
What if you were to talk? Who's your favorite musician? Timothy Pizza.
Like as a person or as a musician?
As a person, who's your favorite musician?
Beck.
So if you're hanging out with Beck, how are you going to bring up an alien conversation with him? I'm just saying, like, this documentary is trying to, like... If you're hanging out with
Beck, Willie, there's probably an alien, like, DJing.
I'm just like you gotta try to hit this at all angles, and so it's not. I don't hold them on blast for trying to. Sure, like even like picture me. You're a fan of this. Like if you're a fan of the show and you've heard me talk, like picture me try to explain something. Like you gotta try to bring everything that you can in, and then you gotta try to say something without like really trying to force anything, because like as soon as you start forcing things, then you're a new religion.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, let me ask you this: if you could take any line of thought out of this documentary so far, would you? And if so, which one?
Well, okay, and I'll answer your question with a question. In the past 50 years, we'll just take your life. In your existence, who, whether they're a musician, an actor, I don't mean to put actor second, a scientist, anything, anybody in the history of your life, who have you been impressed with how they have tried to, not that anybody's trying to do anything, but who have you have impressed with on how they have exemplified to you what humanity should be for the future? Is there anybody in your existence who you've been like, man, I think that this person is a good example of where we should go together as humans?
Oh yeah, totally.
Now, for me, musicians are up there because I feel like creative energy, and I don't know. I mean, not what they say, but their music has taken me in my mind mentally more forward than anybody saying shit. But go on.
We've all heard the Macarena. I actually know a handful of folks from a little town in Iowa called Fairfield. In Fairfield, Iowa, Vedic City is home to the Maharishi. And there was a benign love cult out there. I think it started late 60s, early 70s. And, all these boomers had kids my age, and I've met a bunch of them. Because one of them was my roommate for a really long time, but every single one of these folks has just been has taught me something really cool, like how to handle a stressful situation or not to freak out about something. And they're open to listening to anything, which is super cool. A lot of my friends will just if you even start bringing up a taboo topic, be it aliens or anything else, they just don't want to fucking hear it, But everybody I've met from this one particular town has been super cool and super open. It's weird.
Well, I
don't know.
That's my question, and Wade answer it. Who are the heroes of humanity? Wade says Matt Damon.
Mine are the people of Fairfield, Iowa.
And I love that. I want to go to Fairfield now, but who? Wade, what's your answer? Not that anybody needs to be a hero.
Listen, the heroes of humanity. You don't read about them on the front page of the paper. You don't hear about them on the morning radio station because they're out there every day making life better for everyone. But that's not newsworthy. The only news that we hear is bad shit. No, but my real answer is kind of that. It's dude, pick up some litter. There are people out there who are cool. I think I'm one of them. I hope.
Clearly, Wade broke his arm jerking himself off. I know I stole that joke, but
where'd you steal it from?
Isn't that
people talking about me? If people are talking about me out there, I'm gonna fuck them up. But I think I'm a good person.
I really want to come up with this real list for myself, but within my list,
what about Gandhi?
And
does Gandhi count?
I don't know enough about Gandhi. I would say Gene Roddenberry, Carl Sagan, Stephen Greer.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh, horrible barometer of who's a good person. This motherfucker puts himself on camera more than fucking Matt Damon.
What's your? I really want to come up with a real list, but do you guys have anybody on your list that's man, gosh, obviously Martin Luther King.
So wait, you don't know enough about Gandhi to put him on there, but you're going to say Martin Luther King?
Well, I haven't studied Gandhi. I've seen more parodies of Gandhi than Gandhi. Naked Gun, and I haven't looked into Gandhi at all.
Okay, look into Gandhi. What about all the Buddhas? What about the Hindus and everyone who's just yeah, let's get along, man.
Gandhi was all right.
That's what I'm saying.
Pokey more.
Wait,
the
what?
Orange guy? I said Gandhi was cool, but I like Pokey more, the orange horse.
Oh, got it. It's a
Gumby's
joke.
buddy.
I get it.
Sorry.
You think Gumby? What if Gumby was always a parody of Gandhi?
I've been dabbing this whole time, and I should stop.
All right. Let's get back into it. What do you guys? Any final thoughts before we jump back in?
I don't have any thoughts.
Oh, you got to count
it down. What we're talking about.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, Timmy, when I see your mask, because it makes me feel weird, but in a good way. But I also don't address it.
I named it cilantro.
Okay.
What's our timestamp?
All right. All right, great.
41?
57-41. Let's go.
Oh, give me a
Whoa,
sec.
hang on.
Whoa.
All right, I'm close enough.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He doesn't need the money. I don't need money. We don't need fame or money. That's the last thing a melon wants. I'm telling you.
And of course, TTSA even had a Lockheed Martin.
The last thing a
Skunk
melon
Works
wants is the 4th
engineer
of
who
July.
said, "We need more money to study this because we don't know how these operate."
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself on camera and do this
I got my
documentary.
chance to
I don't
go
want
to
fame.
Works.
I don't want money.
I'm working on things that defy imagination.
Meanwhile, we published a letter that was written to Ben Rich, the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works. And the person writing was a friend of Ben Rich and said,
There's a big quote
"Are these
coming
UFOs ours or extraterrestrial?" And Ben Rich writes back, "They're both." He acknowledges that they are both extraterrestrial and ours. Now, this is not some ufologist. This is the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, the premier aerospace engineering entity arguably in the world. Another man exchanging letters with Ben Rich was military aerospace historian James Goodall, who was Rich's pen pal and confidant for 25 years. I met Mr. Goodall
He
in
only worked
April of
with male
2021 at the 20th anniversary of the Disclosure Project, which we celebrated in Scottsdale, Arizona.
He was dying of esophageal cancer. This is the mid-90s. He'd already retired from Lockheed. And I tracked him down. He was at USC Medical Center near the end of his life. And we were talking about John Andrews and some other stuff, and we started talking about UFOs. And he said, "Jim, we have things out in the desert that's 50 years beyond what you," and he was, talking directly to me, "beyond what you can imagine. And if you've seen movies like Star Trek or Star Wars, we've been there, done that, or decided it wasn't worth the effort." I said, "Ben, you want to expand upon that?" And typical Ben response was, "No."
The first time I realized that some of these vehicles were actually man-made was when I met aerospace illustrator Mark McCandlish, who testified at the Disclosure Project press conference about a highly classified air show at Norton Air Force Base, where reverse-engineered flying saucers were unveiled for those with a, quote, need to know.
A male staff member in Congressman Brown's office not only confirmed the exhibit, but the fact that there were 3 discs at that exhibit. These discs were hovering off the floor without any visible means of support. They were referred to as alien reproduction vehicles, also nicknamed the flux liner because they used high voltage electricity. This is a diagram that I made based on a sketch that Brad Sorensen did for me in rough form shortly after he had his sighting, and subsequently cleaned that drawing up and made it much more accurate. And that's the drawing that Dr. Greer is holding there now. Later on,
How does he
I
know the
obtained
inside of it?
photographs that were taken in 1967 by a military pilot, Harvey Williams, flying a C-47 for the Air Force at 12,000 feet, approximately 25
Don't know if you
miles
saw that, just
southwest of
opened a
Provo,
beer with a
Utah.
beer.
This particular vehicle matches the so-called ARV in all proportions and respects in terms of the detail of the shape of the craft.
News articles from the 1950s describe how we were on the cusp of unlocking the secrets of gravity, which would unleash a technological revolution.
Gravity's fake.
But suddenly the article stopped without explanation. This is the point where we cracked anti-gravity technologies and it went totally covert.
And this Tic Tac, the word is, it's Lockheed Martin. It's the successor to the TR-3G Black Triangle model. Elizondo just will talk the bark off a tree. He goes in circles. He's a great counterintelligence guy. I'd love to get into a debate with him, but of course that's never going to happen.
Well, this is a document that was obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, and it demonstrates quite clearly that we have had issues with these, if you will, these UAPs or UFOs in the vernacular for at least 70 years, at least since 1950, probably earlier. And this is official U.S. government correspondence. This isn't some eyewitness report from a civilian. This is official government documentation from military personnel to very senior military brass. And what it says is very very quite compelling that, look, we've had a lot of military and intelligence eyewitnesses, to include special agents and scientists, and all of them are seeing these things. And more importantly, the frequency has occurred on a regular and continuing basis over sensitive U.S. military facilities. And this has been occurring, Tucker, again, since 1950. The U.S. government has finally admitted that this is not some sort of secret U.S. technology.
Quite the contrary. Over the years, dozens of defense and aerospace industry insiders have briefed me on what they were really working on at places like the Lockheed Skunk Works, going back to the 1940s and 50s. Many of these man-made aircraft have been spotted by thousands of eyewitnesses and become part of
That's
the
a
UFO
USB
lore,
drive.
indistinguishable from actual ET craft. These rogue, covert operations within the military-industrial complex stage thousands of sightings, abductions, mutilations.
This is the cool
and
part where he
disturbing
shows the
encounters with
UFO
our
models that he
public-facing
has.
military, knowing these incidents will be mistaken for ET craft. This confusion between what is extraterrestrial and what is man-made is essential for pulling off a false flag that would be blamed on aliens. This is from 1983, Hudson Valley, very famous cases, many witnesses to these transformer-sounding objects, and underneath, when they were close, you can see superstructure and tubes and other things.
Transformer sounding?
That is not extraterrestrial.
They say
Now, have there been
Autobots
extraterrestrial
roll out.
vehicles of boomerang and other shapes? Yes.
Yeah.
But where do you think they get the idea? And also, how else do you create a false flag? You have to create structures that would be believably not.
Wait, does he have a podium in his
aerodynamic.
house?
Some of them are kind of hybrids. They'll have some
This is
conventional
his press
propulsion as
conference
well as
room in his
electrogravitic,
house.
and they all have structural, superstructure components that are clearly a man-made machine.
The monitor's in the shop. Can we get the monitor out of the
interstellar
shop?
vehicle. And this is
Blame the
1989
non-union
in
production
Belgium
designer,
that
not
You
him.
can see all the tubes and structures underneath. Again, this is global. These are also well-known.
I'm starting to get nervous
You can
because I think I
basically, once you
tagged him
get
in a
your
tweet to say that I was
lifter
watching his
system in
movie
place
later, and like
that causes
I
mass
doubt he's
cancellation,
watching, but
you can create any
I would
kind
love
of
it if he was watching.
structure
Hey,
around it.
lose some fucking muscle.
And it
You
doesn't
look
matter
like an
if it's
idiot.
aerodynamic or not, because the way it moves, it
What do you need
moves,
muscles for?
Let's say,
Lifting
the
up your
molecules
podium that
move
you put in your living
around it,
room?
so it's basically moving an electromagnetic field effect. So there's no resistance and there is no sonic boom. That's man-made. We've had it for decades. This one is great because it has, if you look at the underside, there are the girders and the structures, and the people under it can see that.
He
and
also
can
has
see
a
the light in the
giant
center
mouth.
and
He
the
looks
three on
like
the thing. That is
one of
man-made.
those flowers that
There
raises up
are
in the Mario
extraterrestrial
tubes.
vehicles that are triangular and that are saucer shaped.
Do they grant you fireballs?
So to make things complicated here,
They raise up and they chomp you.
how are you going to know? Well, you got to be
Which
close enough
Mario?
to it to see. And if you can't see
The original
the
Mario.
superstructure
in the tube
detail, you're not going to know whether it's extraterrestrial or not. This is from Southern Illinois in 2000. They went from animal mutilations being staged by clandestine human organizations.
Animal
to
mutilations
these were
went
doing
away,
human
and they were fucking
vivisections
legit for a while.
and killing humans. But of
What's
course,
a
they wanted
vivisection?
everyone to believe the aliens were doing vivisections on people. No, it
I
wasn't.
think it's
Which
cut
ones are
in
man-made
half.
and which ones are extraterrestrial beings?
No, that's a bias.
Dr. Greer is figuring this out. We've got to listen to this
I'll text you a
information.
photo.
These are facts. This is not rhetoric. And then we've got to be able to apply it. We're taught to be afraid. We're taught
hold
to
up.
fear. We're taught
Hold
to
up,
fear
let's pause.
extraterrestrial beings. Really?
Wait, I'm gonna pause.
Get over it.
Meanwhile, you have people.
What up?
Oh man, now I'm looking at Tucker
Enjoy.
Carlson.
You've seen a UFO?
Oh, triangle UFO? Yeah, cool.
But did you?
I've seen
but
a
did
few
you-
different types of UFOs, but I haven't seen a
No,
triangle.
keep
Go on, Wade.
keep talking while he or she types. What? Explain it.
Yeah, write out your enjoys 05. Write out your triangle sighting, and we'll read it off. I will say, funny note, I just got an email just now. I like danced in a music video that's going to be a cover of a Blink-182 song. So like it's just funny it's happening right now, but it'll come out soon.
Wait, you got an email to tell you that you did that?
Oh no, that like after like over a year, it's finally coming out.
Is it a band that we would know?
No, it's my buddy Pete Wild. He did a cover of a Blink-182 song, which is fucking great. And I'm like, I danced really big in his video. I'm just like, I've been waiting for this for so long. But it's funny that I get the email now as we're like shitting on Tom DeLonge.
Well,
I'm shitting on him.
I love Tom DeLonge. All right,
I love
New
him too.
York.
I think
When
he just
was a
got
kid-
misinformed.
We got the answer from Enjoys.
Newberry, New York. When I was a kid in the 90s in my backyard, looked up in the trees and saw a big triangle-shaped thing fly overhead, looked just above the trees, big lights in each corner. No noise, just flew over.
Sounds like the Phoenix Lights UFO.
Well, I mean that's a crazy thing. Like when you think of the big stories of UFOs that have groups of people that have seen them, right? This is what's weird is we at this point
Tell us more about your childhood dream that you had that didn't happen. Oh, Whitey's kind of a dick. Whitey's kind of a dick. It's not me.
Whitey.
You are.
We have.
You just dreamed something, and memory's a bitch. Memory's a bitch.
I don't know.
I mean, damn, roasted by the wolf.
Whitey's new song
they
is called
say-
"Memory's a Bitch."
If they say etched into my mind, I have nothing. I can't remember a dream 4 minutes after waking up.
Well, that's your problem, man. Maybe you should go to sleep sober once in a while.
Hey, no, that's not good. Why do you think I drink or do drugs? So I can go to sleep.
Yeah, well, I actually got a good
how's
trick.
the view
If
from
you're a
up there,
listener, you would know
motherfucker?
my trick. So
How's the view
not a
from up
listener.
there? How is the view up there?
Hey,
Wade?
listen, everything's fine from up here. We're all getting along, and everything's good, and there's no conflict. And then you guys show up, and you're like, "Fucking,
Well, I try to picture all the big sightings over the since Roswell. Like Roswell had a lot of, not that it had a bunch of people involved in the sighting, but it had a lot of people involved in the aftermath, which like adds a weird credibility to it. And then you look at the the Alaskan Airlines sighting where this giant UFO, like everyone on this plane could see this thing, and then the Phoenix Lights where like this thing happens over the whole state. And then you look at like abductions and stuff. And so like what's weird is the state of everything now, where they're like for decades have been saying like there's nothing to the alien phenomena. And now they're like, yeah, we're spending money researching it. And now they're saying like, oh, see, here's the weird spin that's happening now is they're saying like, oh, this could be other governments, instead of like the unidentified aerial phenomenon could be other secret militaries. And I'm like, when you say that, we are the most advanced secret military. So like, you're like, to anybody, it's like, yeah, this is us, half of them. But so picture all of the main UFO things, because somebody said earlier in the comments, like, why haven't there been UFOs in the last 80 years? I'm like, there have been. They've just been classified as nothing.
Oh, they're all
It's been ball
Chinese
gas. It's been
lanterns.
bullshit. Chinese lanterns. That's crazy. Yeah. And so now to reevaluate all the UFO sightings over the past 100 years, like, does that change anything? Like, that's the crazy thing. It's like, hey, now the news story is, hey, there might be something to these UFO things. Like, forget about anything we've ever seen in the past. This Tic Tac might be real. So it's such a weird misdirect to go forget everything in the past, only the future and the present are valid.
Was it
Oh,
Tic Tac?
oh, Oh, you woke up. You woke up Whitey. Whitey fell asleep there for a second, and now he's back. He was so bored by what you were saying, he totally fell asleep.
I know.
All right, should we? No, listen. Enjoys 05. I believe you. I guess. I mean, there's no reason to not believe you.
Wait, if you have a Quato, is that an alien?
No, that's a parasite.
It's a parasite. All right. Thanks.
All right, we got about 20 minutes left on this thing, and we'll do closing things. But let's get through this. Thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate you being here.
Do you know that anyone has stuck with us? They all bailed, and you're just.
If you guys want to watch me do shots, chat exclamation points.
Oh yes, I want to do that.
All right. I'll do a couple with you. Let's rock.
I'm gonna make you do so many fucking shots.
Sweet.
Dude. You have to do one for each of these, right?
No, I've only got 2 shots. I've got fucking Fernet. It's been on my bar forever, and I've got 1 more tequila.
All right.
That's like saying hot. I got some hot here. Instead
Yeah.
of like saying hot damn, like you're just saying the first part, like, oh, I got some hot over here.
What the
I got
fuck
some
is hot
gym.
damn, dude? What are you
got some gym.
Gym.
Yeah,
should I get a beer or are we going to start this?
Yeah,
get a beer.
Okay, because I really don't care if I miss any of this.
Yeah, let's go.
Just
Here
do
we
it.
go.
I'll do my
Countdown.
shot.
5.
I'm on.
Oh yeah. You can
I
start your
know
thing
we're
and then
going
we'll
to
go.
start it. All right.
5, 4, 3.
Wait,
2,
no, wait,
1.
no, hold that.
Wait,
I'm on the wrong thing.
Wait, what's the timestamp? What's the timestamp?
Yeah, I'm not ready.
I got
106.
106.43. Is that?
I got 44.
I'm actually at 106.42. That's funny.
All right.
Oh, wait,
which is great. When we're ahead of you, we're like caught up.
I got
with
106.40.
the stream.
Okay, Tim's right
All right,
on.
let's rock.
Hold on, before we go, I'm gonna do a quick toast to Enjoys 05 and their triangle story, because it takes balls to say crazy shit, and even though we're all making fun of each other, we love you and your triangle story, and thanks for watching.
I appreciate you. Yes, thank you. I agree. I would say that this podcast was started because the first person I told my UFO story to was Wade, and he didn't believe me. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I was like,
fucking bullshit. Fucking slander.
It takes balls.
No. Wow.
Slenderman?
Slander. You not believing me doesn't make anything bad.
You're making up shit about me, man. That's slander, dude.
So we're talking about Slenderman?
I'm very open to all of your guys' made-up beliefs.
No, but I probably didn't tell the story well. I will say that. My whole life was changed.
All right. Well, we already toasted. So you want to count it down?
Yep. 5, 4, 8, let's go.
Who would purport to be experts in UFOs going on Fox News and other news outlets saying, we don't really know what these are. It's a big mystery.
They've lied by omission, and when they say it's a mystery, that's a lie. Okay, I'm sorry, but that, I'm not on board with that, and that,
But they have to know that's a lie.
Right. So they do, and I think it's obvious. So, that's why I'm giving this interview with you today. I mean, I've had enough of that. I had enough with my dad. Was he a liaison to Majestic 12 as a magic member? Probably.
I hate my fucking
He
dad.
probably had 2 pages of the UFO file. Don't worry about the rest of it. Just 2 pages are all you need. Okay, yes, sir. And Chris is going, yes, sir, too.
So those people are very studied agnostics who act like we don't know. And that's why they're given an audience. If they were actually to say, here's what they are, here's what they're doing, which is what a truthful disclosure would be, they would be banned off those networks.
I don't think I've ever spoken to anyone who has seen more reports, paperwork, photographs, interviews as you on this topic. Has there ever been a confirmed extraterrestrial ship?
We'd have to say no. We'd have to say what's confirmed is that we don't know what this, let's call it a ship or an object. We don't know what it is. We can just say what it isn't. And, you know, you can.
I don't think anybody
yourself,
briefed her on the
and of
UFOs
course,
before
what we call
this.
the extraterrestrial
It was just
hypothesis
like-
is a valid
Why,
one.
because
and
she's a
maybe it
woman?
is from some other place in the universe.
In the axis of disinformation, Leslie Kean is the original shameless opportunist of ufology. Over 2 decades ago, Leslie embedded herself in the planning
go.
and execution
What do you got about her?
of the
Yeah,
disclosure
this is
project
Greer's
and
hit
then
parade,
betrayed our
man.
trust by
He's
hijacking
taking
our
people
top
down.
secret witnesses and case studies and repackaging them. Most people don't realize that on the day of the Disclosure Project press
Oh, you can
conference,
see her weird hair back
intelligence
there.
agencies jammed our signal leaving the
Who are those
National Press
hackers?
Club building for the first hour.
I think that's from
Leslie
Mr.
was
Robot.
there, and she knew that we
Yeah,
had
it was a guy
revealed
from
too much.
the Queen movie.
She adopted this fake agnosticism so that every door to mainstream media outlets would be open for her.
Anything
I
that can
believe this, though.
operate in
Fuck her.
impunity within our airspace, within restricted airspace, that can have near misses with our Navy pilots, it has to be considered a potential threat. Anything that's in the skies that we don't know what, we don't know what it is, and it's demonstrating incredible capabilities.
Oh, everything should be a threat.
The only way the Department of Defense is going to deal with it is to see it as a potential threat.
Anything that enters an airspace that's not supposed to be there is a threat.
After receiving classified briefings on UAPs, Senator Marco Rubio called for a
Including
detailed
drones
analysis.
and
This
balloons.
past December, while he was still head of the Intelligence Committee, he asked the Director of National Intelligence and the Pentagon to present Congress
Chinese
an
lantern.
unclassified report by next month.
We've gone this way before. There have been many initiatives. Gerald Ford, when he was congressman, held hearings, went nowhere. The whole window dressing of Project Blue Book, and then that was just really a publicity stunt by the Air Force. And most recently, the $22 million that the Pentagon spent on this Bigelow aerospace study. I had a Zoom meeting this summer with General Herbert, the chief advisor to Senator Harry Reid, and they authorized this funding.
After spending $110 million, maybe more than that, because it was a 6-year-long program, where's the beef? What's the results? That money went to Robert Bigelow, who was
That's the
in
set of
Nevada.
Jeopardy.
And he's a buddy of Harry Reid's, right?
Right, who was chair of that committee.
UFO proponent, thinks
Exactly.
they've definitely come here many times.
Right, so, you've spent $100+ million gathering information, and what did you do with it, outside of, collecting a couple of videos?
I didn't tell you,
The
you
people
nerd.
in that circle around Mr. Bigelow and Bigelow Aerospace were all operatives of these unacknowledged special access projects. They made sure that those $22 million were the equivalent of opening a toilet lid, putting the money in and flushing it. And so what General Herbert said to me is that even in the meetings in the Senate
Was he the
classified
dad in
SCIF,
Elf?
Secure Communication Information Facility in the Senate, all
Did
they
you
got
know
was
that
like
the dad
a
in Elf
40,000 foot
smoked
view.
crack with a
He was an
male
Army
prostitute?
pilot. And
Oh, I
no
love that
detail, no
story
nothing.
so much.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, that is what was done, and was done on purpose.
That's one of my
so there was a
favorite
pretty
Hollywood
sizable
stories.
budget for this program. What did they find?
Well, I mean, basically what they did with that budget is a lot of different research to try to document what was going on, to try to understand the physics behind how the objects, move around. And then
Greer
just
isn't making
keep
millions
records
on
of
his
what they were
books or
observing,
retreats.
but they
These
haven't been
people
able
are
to
making
find what they
millions
are, where they're
off
from, or
of these
anything like
programs.
And I said, do you
To
feel
just
they
say
were
that
holding
it's
back?
not
He said,
real.
oh, yeah, a lot.
It cost $800 to do a
Ultimately,
weekend
the
retreat.
reason that $22 million grant wasn't renewed is that he and others realized they were being zoomed. They were being deceived and getting nothing out of it.
Now, Greer's
It remains
far
to be
too
seen
weird.
if they get anything.
If he
out
wanted
of
to make
this
money, he could have
mandatory
done more
Director of National
straightforward
Intelligence
things.
and also
Everything
Naval
he's done
Intelligence
has been out of
report
left
that's going to
field.
go to the Congress. I think that the more information that's in it, it could be even more dangerous than nothing, because I think they will cherry pick cases that
This
they will
documentary is a
spin
lot
as
like me
evidence
reading a
of
Wikipedia on
a national
baseball
security
and then
threat.
being
And
the
that's
main
what's
guy
been
in my
ramping up in the
documentary about
media.
baseball.
So my concern
Where I
is
just
we
say
need
a
to
bunch
get
of shit
ahead of
about
that curve
baseball.
and release to the public this information, with the evidence and everything we're presenting, so that
Like, how do you
people
make a
at least
documentary
ask
where
the
you're the
critical
main guy?
question.
He's
Is
not even trying
that
to be a
report
journalist.
full and accurate?
Well,
And
you
is it
get a
even the truth?
camera and
I
you
think we
sit
need a
down
lot
in
of
front of it.
skepticism. If it's coming out of the U.S. government or any other government,
He's not even
in
talking
the
to anyone.
mainstream
There is
media,
no one that he's
until
looking at.
proven
He gave
otherwise,
himself an island.
it is cherry-picked information, and someone has an agenda because they've hit the button, the go button with the mainstream media to cover it in a very specific way.
Dinner's
That
ready.
does not redound to the benefit of the
Jenny,
human
I
race.
told you I'm doing
Well,
my
Brown gave me
documentary.
the idea that we should have a bill in the Congress and it should have a matching treaty. Well, we did for a while, but in the Congress it didn't work.
How much do you think
Not
her
in this
head
country.
weighs?
So I went international, and international is where I found some
Is it a Jerry
intelligent
Maguire
life
reference?
that was really willing to
What?
create an agreement,
I thought
treaty
she had a big head.
to prevent
3 pounds,
the
right?
placement of weapons in outer space.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jerry Maguire, dude.
Is there a head weight reference in that?
Yeah. Jonathan Litt.
No, I just thought her head was large. I wasn't mining Jerry Maguire for material weight.
You should have been. It would have been good.
По теории даже вероятности не может
me the
организованная
jokes. No,
разумная
I
жизнь
can't believe you made
существовать
it, dude.
только на планете Земля. Но пока инопланетяне своим присутствием не нанесли никакого ущерба землянам, инфраструктуре и вообще живым организмам на Земле. Поэтому говорить о том, что есть инопланетная угроза, ну, это, наверное, не соответствует реальности.
The beauty of having these Russian generals come forward and say this is that we've had a lot of, like Colonel Corso and others come forward with evidence. Now we have these senior people in Russia, and we need more countries to do this, where they unshackle their leaders who know the truth of this and speak the truth to the world community.
Now, if you listen to a lot of people, you hear, there are already weapons in space, blah, blah, blah.
See,
but
big
the
head.
fact is, if anyone reads this treaty, which is hard to get them to do, it's on
Nugget.
peaceandspace.com, then you will start to see, and it
peaceandspace.com.
does
Everyone
tap
go there.
people,
She's going to get the clicks.
along with the treaty, CE5 events where people can actually have an experience.
I'm going to get my plug in, right?
What more do we need? Well, if you're
peaceandspace.com,
listening
I'm
to
gonna get
the
that in.
scientific method that's been taught to most of us, there's no evidence, we're still looking for it. That is ridiculous. What about the people like me,
Willie,
like
these
Dr.
are the
Greer,
people
like
you've aligned
900 other
yourself-
witnesses? What
you've
about them
aligned yourself
telling
with.
the truth,
Just
risking their
insane
lives, the
white-haired
courage that it takes
wig
to do
wearers.
this? I haven't had
I think
it
the white-haired
until
man
now.
is her Quato.
There is another
He
path
comes out of her back.
just outside
That's
the
true. We've never seen a wide
gravitational
shot of him
pull
alone.
of that black
No,
hole of
he's coming out of her
disinformation.
back.
White hair,
It's the path
the
I've spent my
white-haired
whole life
choice
fighting for
is
and
stronger than a
protecting.
bald head.
It's the path that
Like,
leads
to
to
anybody who
enlightenment,
shaves their head,
world
they're
peace,
giving
and
up
the realization of
on
technology so
their
advanced
existence.
that to us they would seem magical. This is the path of truthful disclosure and peaceful
Oh, shit.
relations
What's Whitey got to
with
say?
our brothers and
I'm
sisters
I'm
from the
stronger than
stars.
bald people, apparently.
CE5, or Close
According to
Encounters
Willie,
of the Fifth
this
Kind,
choice,
is a set of
I
protocols
guess.
I developed
I don't
to
get
initiate
it,
peaceful
but I
contact
thank you
with
for the
interstellar
compliment,
civilizations.
sir.
It's
None of us
easy
get it,
enough
Whitey.
for anyone to do, and will absolutely transform your life.
You remember in
Millions
Willow
of people
when
are learning how to do
that witch
CE5
that
by
has
connecting
white hair,
with local
like-
CE5 groups or by downloading guided meditations in the
Stacy?
CE5 Contact app.
Doing that in the context of meriting
Oh, there he is.
citizenship.
Oh, yeah, he's her
We know you're
Quato.
in the belly. We know you're in
She's
the
in her
belly.
belly. She's
is
laying
a
on her belly.
very
He's coming out of her
meaningful
back.
meme to say, look, we need to work on ourselves. We need to elevate our consciousness. We need to hearken to the higher angels of our own nature, etc. That's all a dynamic that we
need
do
to
have
be
control.
one
That's
with
why
the
I think
universe,
CE5 thing
etc.
is so important because
Yeah.
Wait,
you
what
know,
does
that's the
hearken
best
mean?
way to get data, not to be speculating.
How do I
from
hearken?
our own political ideology about what they might be like? We really have to have direct communication with these beings. The more, the better. That dual role of elevating our own consciousness and rising to the highest level.
He's my most hated guy in this.
Human nature, on the one hand, and
The
reaching out
Quato?
to establish communion and contact
Yeah, I don't like
with
him at
the
all.
extraterrestrial beings themselves are the two pathways the two pathways that we have. And in dealing with the national security state, we just have to take whatever steps we can in the legislative route to impose
with all the
treaties
garbage that
to
I
keep us
consume,
from
I'm
doing
tempted to hire
things
Wade
like
to just be a box
militarizing
on my
space
TV and to
developing
just yell at
space
stuff,
weapons and all that kind of stuff.
so I know when
That's
I'm being
another third leg
misinformed.
of this stool that we have to really do to exercise whatever kind of control we can have over the political realm.
And that, I think, is the only way we're going to have not just world peace. And world peace should have happened at the end of World War I. We have to have universal peace. At this point, world peace is too late. We're already in an interstellar moment. We're already in a cosmic time. So we have to have universal peace. And universal peace comes from both our external policies and behaviors and from within, the great peace within, the state of universal consciousness.
Okay. This is where Willie gets it.
As we wrap up this film,
This is
we're
cosmic
seeing the
blood
threat
libel.
narrative intensify by the day. Language like, "We need to stop trying to contact aliens," seems to confirm my long-held suspicion that CE5 would be blamed for a staged alien attack. Do not believe this lie.
This isn't entertainment. This is our survival. I saw that Dr. Greer would never stop doing this until he took his last breath and that he needed help with
I hear it
this.
come.
This
This
is
is
not
deep.
about us. It's not about fame, fortune, money. There's no money anyway in all
But I
this.
am getting SAG
It's
scale
about
for this,
finding a group of people that have the same vision. But the most beautiful vision
If you want to be a box
and
on
I've
my
attended
TV,
so
I'll give
many
you like
CE5s, is that he has found a way, a
$4 an
non-hostile
episode
way
standard TV.
to communicate with who's ever out
$8
there.
for a full hour.
Because whoever's out there is depending on him to change this situation.
Well, we can work
So
something out.
that, for me, is
All
the
right.
most important. The CE5 protocols that everybody can do is going to make a darn difference. So for me, the Disclosure Project is a miracle. And it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy. Can I give you a hug?
Oh, fuck you. Now she's my most hated. I hate her. Ugh.
You
Gross.
just keep going. We're here.
I'm so emotional about
You just keep
aliens.
going, okay? I'll never leave you, so you just keep going. Do what you do. And do what you do the
And
best.
everyone
because
at Greer's
if we don't do
films,
it,
there's this
nobody's going to
moment
do it. Do you understand that?
where he wipes a tear from his eye. There it is!
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the most cringy thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay, can I go outside and get some
I
sun?
just came all over myself.
Gross. Gross. Gross.
Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
This is the.
Alright, pause it.
It's over. You don't have to pause. You can just turn it off and never see it. Aaron Moles, why can't survival be entertaining? You were so correct. Like, isn't this the whole point of life? To just sort of figure shit out?
Well,
I think. And what is this? What is this CE5 thing? They glossed over whatever the fuck that was, and then they brought it up a shitload in the last 2 minutes.
CE5 is fucking awesome.
A CE5
is
a
cool as
CE5 is event is a contact.
No, it's a close encounter of the fifth kind. He's talking about the meditation shit.
Yeah, what do you mean?
That's the
No,
CE
I'm like trying to say this with you.
Fight.
Oh, okay. No, these dabs are intense.
This is the thing where you can go with him with a group of people and you meditate and you try to contact aliens as a group. Contacting, it's not contact in the desert, but like these are the events that he puts on.
Damn it.
This makes sense. This makes so much sense because
So the whole thing was advertising for his group meditation thing?
No. You can take it that way. You can take it that way.
That's a
but
natural reaction, Wade. But I'm all for this.
But what would my parallel is a CE5 event is like, instead of calling the police on your neighbors, it's like, go talk to them.
Yeah, well, okay, but here's the thing. I don't have to pay money to go talk to them or call the police. You could fucking go.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. This commenter's onto something. Aaron Moles says, I want Wade and Willie to do the CE5 thing. Let's crowdsource and see if we can get people to pay for. I mean, I want to go, the three of us, to one of his CE5 events, and we can meet up secretly and talk about it. But like,
well, listen.
Or
why
not
do
be cheaper? But I'd love to be there.
Why not do a different hack where it's like, hey, let's put it out there that okay, so like, I believe in aliens. I believe in extra dimensional beings. I believe that there's something here, and can we communicate with them? And out of everything that's happened in the history of sightings, is there any truth to any of it? Like, I want to say that I don't believe in everything, but I believe in the possibility of a lot of things that have happened. And so like why can't we just, instead of like trying to fix humanity, let's just try to troll them by like trying to place a bigger importance on birthdays, so that like when we meet aliens, it's like, oh, when's your birthday? And then they'll think your birthday is more important than it is, so that you have an edge over them when you meet them.
So they're also like super gullible.
Well, like you're trying to submit information that you're gullible, but if they subscribe to it, then it proves that they're gullible, and so like you have a power edge over them.
Oh, do you remember
if they think that your birthday is important, then they're subscribing to the idea that they're trying to succumb to your power struggle.
But my birthday is important. If you guys don't all send me gifts on my birthday, I get like super crushed.
I know, I'm the same way, but I think like a good example of this is that it was like an 80s alien movie, and Kim Basinger was in it, and she's pretending to be human, and she's at the grocery store, and she goes to pay with a $50 bill, and the clerk says, oh, you need to pay with something smaller. So she just reaches into her purse and pulls out a really tiny $50 bill. Like, the aliens are so literal that we get entertainment out of like their literal take on how they're supposed to pay for like marshmallows and tampons, because that's what they buy.
I mean, okay, like what was the movie where like all the aliens were like octopus style, and it took them so long to get the linguist to try to figure out how to talk to them?
Arrival.
What was that one?
Arrival.
Yeah.
So, like that abstract style of an alien is like what we're gonna end up with, you know, after all the alien movies. We're like, they're just, you know, they're just trying to get our water. Oh, actually, these aliens are allergic to water, or water kills them, and they came to a water planet. What, you know, the fucking M. Night Shenanigans movie. But anyways,
what was the really cute?
We're not gonna get it right. Whatever our first. So here's the thing. He's trying to say that aliens are here, and so what's our first real on record interaction gonna be with aliens? You know, where everyone agrees that this is real, because you have all these secret entities saying that aliens are here. Okay, forget all that. What's our first real alien interaction? Is it going to be an invasion?
I think it would be, we would play the girl from Ipanema, right? Is that what it's called? Because nobody hates that song. And it's very chill, and then the aliens would be like, oh, these guys, I kind of get this. This is like kind of our vibe.
Yeah,
a little bit. I think that. Rather than like, hello. Just
the girl from Ipanema.
Well, it's so hard because my only reference that I really want to get into is like Star Trek reference, like picture, like what are the aliens going to be? Vulcans, or are they going to be Klingons? Like, are we going to have to fight them, or are we going to have to like listen to them talk about how we're not ready to meet other aliens because we're so unevolved? Like
yeah. I mean, either way, I won't be involved at all.
No, dude, they're gonna be tiny little guys, and they're gonna fix your Walkman.
Well, picture picture the world we live in now, and let's say aliens are real, and the person that introduces you to aliens is like Kim Kardashian, right? Where she's like, "Hey, I met one, and we're also selling perfumes that are alien perfumes,
Right?
Like,
But if
the-
they like
the-
her, what if they like her vibe though? And then we start off on a really great first impression. They're like, everyone's cool, man.
Well, listen, the fact that they've aligned with Kim Kardashian is like 30% of the world, so like they're off to a good start.
No, this is a really good point, actually, because
30% of the world is on board with Kim Kardashian.
And your minds, in you in the chat as well, if somebody was going to introduce an alien to you, anybody, past, future, oh no, we can't say that. Somebody has to introduce an alien to you. Who do you think would be the most credible?
Like, they're so smart. The
David
aliens are so
Attenborough.
smart that they're gonna know that Instagram followers
Gene Simmons
have a play on their acceptance. And David Attenborough's really good. Yeah, I mean, like, on his way out. Well, but like
Daniel
Wade brought up a
Day-Lewis.
point earlier where there was some weird English guy that was just talking shit, and it's like, well, they always sound smart. Just sit back and just say, what? Peanut butter and cereal should not be the proper way to eat. Like just the idea that like the English accent sounds important because of Mon Mothma.
Is that a Star Trek thing?
Star Wars.
I don't know. Wade, who would you, if somebody was going to introduce an alien to you, who would make it
Matt
credible?
Damon.
Really?
Yeah, if he showed up at my doorstep and he's like, I've never met you, but I really need you to know that there's aliens. I'd be like, holy shit, you're Matt Damon. And he'd be like, yeah, but like,
dude, I was
forget about all of
McConaughey,
my award-winning roles. I've only had one. It was for writing, but forget about that. I'd be like, okay, well, all right, I'll try, but I really like it. And he'd be like, no, but there's aliens. And I'd be like, sign me up, dude. Where's Ben? Let's go.
Wait, is Connie Chung still alive?
I like trying to picture who the aliens think are important. How would they judge importance?
They wouldn't know. There's too much of a broad. Okay, if like you're an alien and you're looking at everything that's happening in the world, what are you going to think is the most important?
Who's the most important? Who's the most popular person on the planet right now? I would say top 10. I mean, Tom Cruise is up there, right? Top 10 people on the planet. If you're just
Big
looking at
Floppa.
consciousness, if you could like
They'd go for Big Floppa.
if you could read the minds of everyone on the earth, who's the top 10 people? Putin, Trump,
No.
Tom
Big
Cruise.
Floppa.
Yeah, definitely Big Flava or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck Tim is saying.
It's that giant cat that's all over Instagram. He's got the big floppy ears.
I don't know it.
And he hugs people.
Oh wait, do I have him here?
No.
Yeah,
but,
you got
but
him.
like,
Let's see
Wait,
it.
I think he's visiting me.
Oh.
if you could read the mind of the world,
Pretty sure Big Flava's here.
Floppa.
Oh
It's
my
me.
God.
Oh.
Big Flava. Hello.
I thought it was going to be your penis.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop. That's what Big Flava does. She says
No,
whoop a
Flava.
bunch.
It's a.
Whoop.
Hang on, I'll find a
Whoop.
picture.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, no, I don't care about this. Kanye, fucking Michael Jordan.
I mean, I only bring this up because I'm like, if for whatever you think an alien, an interdimensional species, whatever you think they are, if you think they could like read our mind or whatever, you know, like how would you get to us? It's not through our leaders. It's not
social
through
media.
But what could an alien come here and realize that social media is not a sham? You know, like I'm saying like that's a stretch. Like what we think that they're going to go to our leaders' doorsteps. They're going to go to, you know, like in this video.
All right, save it for the episode,
that
man.
Aliens have talked to Eisenhower.
I think the message is more important than the movie, because the message is that the government's going to fake an alien 9/11. That's heavy. I mean, they convoluted it too much, but I was also very high. So,
yeah, that there definitely is an event that's going to happen to be a false flag for aliens being a threat. Now, we've already seen the precursors to that being like, hey, there's something here. And now they're even saying like, these could be from other governments. And I'm like, what? When you say that these alien crafts could be from other governments, you're admitting that it's all bullshit, because we have, I'm not saying we are not the best country, but we have the most money and we have the most corruption.
You guys, why he's fucking my face? Why he's fucking my face? Yeah. So wait, what is this episode going to be on Wednesday? Like, what are we going to talk about?
I think we need to talk about what our theories are. How is the government going to do the alien 9/11?
Oh, that's fun.
Call it that, because it's probably insensitive. But can we? Is it too soon? Can we call it alien 9/11?
I mean, it's perfect. It is. That is what it's going to be. What is the false flag? Is it going to be, you know, Werner von Braun and Carol Rosin talked about a fact that there might be an asteroid coming, so we have to then use the technology to break apart an asteroid before the alien invasion. That is a step before aliens. So are we going to see that?
I mean,
so what is your? But also, what is your alien invasion? What's that going to be? How do you fake an alien invasion to get people to be convinced, but for also them to be like, to get on board with like,
you use the alien tech that you have and you fuck something up.
Can you, what if the alien invasion was just in Estes Park, Colorado? Is it so small that like people won't believe it because it's such a small city? Do they have to hit like a giant city, DC?
I don't know, man. They just got to hit something that everybody loves.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk about this on Wednesday, right? Well,
yeah. I think that's the route we should go.
Yeah. So okay. So you guys, we watched this. You've seen it. You've got your opinions. What's your closing statement on what we experienced? Here we go. Somebody is releasing this free documentary to try to get everyone to watch it. Sure, even in Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, he brings up his high school coach that didn't play him, though he legally couldn't in his mind because they didn't play freshmen on the senior team. Like, you got your vendettas, you got your personal bias, whatever. After watching this, Wade, let's go with you first. What do you think about all this alien bullshit?
No, I said it halfway through. This is a hit piece. Whitey. This is a hit piece on all of his not enemies, but competitors. This is a hit piece on his competitors. He didn't really say anything. He was just like, fucking misinformation and like bullshit.
What about you, Pizza? What do you got?
I do feel like this movie was rushed more than his other ones. Like, I feel like it's heavier on stock footage. So that leaves something to like think about. But I like Stephen Greer. I mean, I was ripping on him pretty hard today, but like I said when we first started, easily the highest respected person in my mind in the UFO community. I mean, that like person that I've respected most. And I fully agree that the government will do an alien 9/11 for sure. Yeah.
I
don't. I mean, why?
I agree. I think that in this realm of disclosure, he's on a race with the government to try to be the most correct. And I mean, I know that he's got. I know that there's weird things in here. You know, weird vendettas and weird. But like to me, in 2001, when he tried to bring these people out in front of Congress to say, hey, there's something to this, I have like jumped onto his mission, which is like,
no, Greer's a good guy.
Just like, hey, there's a conversation that needs to be had, and it doesn't need to be. He wasn't selling books in 2001, and he got really important people involved in trying to whistleblow. How do we not listen to whistleblowers that have high
positions? Was so great. Unacknowledged is my favorite UFO documentary of all time.
And so the weird thing is this: is that like can I be fooled because I believe in him too much? And I want to say no, because he's been there for so long, and he wasn't yoked in the beginning, you know.
Well, I think it's cooler that he's yoked. I like him more when he got more yoked. I think when the government admitted that UFOs were real, I immediately thought UFOs were dumb.
That's interesting.
Is that a weird thing to say? I mean, I don't know if that's dumb or, I mean, I don't know, but that's the truth. The second the government started talking about UFOs, I stopped caring.
Well, it's weird because it's the second that they start talking about it, they have to like have a predefined idea of what they're saying. There's nobody in government that's like winging it, and so or like saying things on accident. Everything is like predetermined, everything. You can't talk about aliens.
Do you think the world is more concerned with UFO disclosure or Britney's conservatorship?
I think that most people, what affects them in their daily lives is more important than where we're going to be in the future. And so Britney's...
either one is wrong or right. I mean,
Britney's more important than aliens for most people.
Yeah,
right now.
I'd say so too. I don't know. The world is so weird to me right now. I don't know what to think. And I doubt everything.
So, Hey, I will say, hey, what do you guys got to plug? Pizza. What do you got to plug? What are your? How can people find you?
Twitter at 14 threes, the word spelled out 14 threes. Not really doing much else. Just working and I don't do a lot of stuff anymore. But I don't know.
Word. Wade, what do you got? What are you plugging? What do you how can people find you? What are your podcasts? What are your
I just learned how to make this guy talk. I didn't know this is what the string was for, and I've just been having fun with it for a while.
That's so good.
Now.
Wait, can you do it just? Can you do the shot so it's just Whitey and you're making the mouth like the talking head? Yeah, can you? It looks too creepy. There you go.
I would only want to plug. Well, you're all fans of real life sci-fi, so I'll just plug that. And that's let's give another shout out to Aaron Pierce, our producer here, and Sevan Nigerian, and go to the Channel 101 Twitch and watch all the Channel 101 stuff. And
I got a quick thing I
Frequency 101, and Wade, my friend, does a voice on a Frequency 101 show. It's called Enter the Dark. It's on like its fucking 12th episode or some crazy shit.
Yeah, it's going strong.
So check that out.
I will say that everything that I've done out here in LA has luckily been a culmination, a creative collaboration. I appreciate everyone I've worked with. I would say check out Channel 101. And I think if you get a chance to be creative with someone, like, that's probably more important than I think finding your creativity is more important than voting on something, because what is voting?
Unregister, never vote.
Just laughing. I do believe in when I look in the history of my life of like humans that I think are actually doing something for humanity. Stephen Greer is up there for me. I think that sure, as a critic you can pick him apart, but I feel like he more answers what we should be examining for a future humanity than not. I'm a big fan of his. I hope that I'm never betrayed by him, because as a Scorpio, I will never forgive it. And thank you for hanging out with us. Real life sci-fi everything. This is what we do. We're going to continue this conversation with Timothy Pizza later on this week. You can find us on all of the things, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. But we're trying to venture out into bigger things. And so thank you for joining us in this. And yes, thank you, Aaron Pierce, Sevan Nigerian, you guys. What a happy accident. A couple days ago, this was an idea, and now this is like more produced than our podcast. Yeah, great job.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. This is really freaking cool. We good?
I'm going to say the Whitey should give us the sign off.
Remember, just because you're paranoid don't mean they're not after you. Wow, 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 wow.
Real life sci-fi.